Good evening and welcome to the November 18th, 2020 North Andover Conservation Commission meeting. Just a brief announcement regarding tonight's meeting format before we start. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the North Andover Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.northandoverma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so on their televisions by tuning into Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 26, or online at www.northandovercam.org. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Town of North Andover website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive recording of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. If the public would like to participate in the public hearing, please email your question or comment prior to or during the meeting to Amy Maxner at amaxner@northandoverma.gov. The question or comment will be read during the proceedings and responded to accordingly. And so before I hand it over to Lou, the chairman, I would just like to remind everyone to mute themselves. If you're not speaking, the commission will remain live so we don't lose them. And so if your item is not up, just mute yourself. Thank you. So I'll hand it to you, Lou.
All right, thank you. Before we start the meeting, there's a couple of introductions I'd like to make. The first one being we have a new commissioner who has some very large shoes to fill. And I would like to welcome Tony Capichetti. If I meant screwed up your name, I'm sorry.
So. No, that you got it right there. Thank you, Mr. Napoli.
All right. Yeah, and I'm going to start up with Jack. If you'd like to welcome our new commissioner.
Hi, Tony. Welcome. Glad you're on board with us, and hope to have a good, long-lasting relationship with you.
Thank you. And next will be Joe Lynch.
Hi, Tony. Good to hear from you again. Welcome aboard. Lou understates that you have huge shoes to fill, and I'm confident that your competence will do that.
Thank you. And Sean McDonough?
Hey, Tony. Look forward to working with you, and welcome aboard.
Okay. So what we're going to do tonight is Jack, I'm going to have you as the leadoff man, followed by Joe Lynch, and then when Al comes back, he'll go next, and then it'll be myself, and it'll be Sean, and then it'll be you, Tony. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. All right. So now that we get that done, we have we have another new administrator, partial, a field inspector, and his name is Taylor Andrews, and I'd like to welcome him aboard. He's very, very intelligent, and I've spoken to him well. I've also told him that this commission eats their young. So, so with that being said, I would like, Jack, would you like to say hello?
Yeah, welcome, Taylor. Glad to have you aboard.
Joe?
Welcome, Taylor. Just a heads up, we're a very, very competent commission. Expect nothing but good work and the truth, even if it sometimes is not favorable. Just let us know. We can handle bad news.
Sean?
Welcome aboard, Taylor, and sure, I look forward to working with you. And yeah, this is a great commission. Glad to have you aboard.
Very good. Tony?
Yeah. No, it's nice to meet you, Taylor, and I look forward to working with you as well.
Very good. Do you have any thing to say, Taylor?
You might be muted, Taylor.
Okay. We can always, eventually we can get hold of him.
Yeah.
He flunked the first test, didn't he?
No.
Hello?
Oh, I hear him. He's on now.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you all for the nice introduction, and I'm happy to be here and looking forward to working with you all. And thanks again.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Taylor.
All right, so I would like a motion to approve the minutes. I wasn't there and Amy reviewed them, so I'm looking for a motion to accept the minutes for October 28th.
Lou, this is Jack. I also reviewed the minutes and I moved to approve them as drafted.
Second.
All those in
Sean.
favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous. First order of business is small projects. The first one is NACC number 266, 5 Stone Wedge Circle.
All righty. So this application is coming under as a category B, an in-kind replacement of existing deck. The existing deck and stairs is a total of 260 square feet. Existing footings will be maintained and no soil disturbance is proposed. Construction debris will be removed from the site daily and raw materials stored in the driveway. The site was subject to an order of conditions 242990 for the construction of the subdivision roadway and the associated lots. So we had a deck.
Amy, can I stop you for a quick second?
Yeah.
There's a lot of reverb behind you. I
Yeah,
don't know if everybody else is doing
somebody has to move.
Yeah. So if everyone could *6 if they're on a cell phone, that would be really helpful.
it.
It's gone away,
fixed.
so.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. So this is a lawfully existing deck. It was on the as-built plan for when the house was built. And the wetland has migrated a little bit in the ensuing 13 years. But, you know, I think it's still eligible for category B. So if you guys want my recommendation or.
Yeah, say it.
Yeah, so I would approve it under category B and just require that a post-construction site inspection be held with the Conservation Department to verify as-built conditions.
Thank you, Amy. Jack, any questions?
No, none on this, Lou. Thank
Joe?
you.
I only have one. The attached site plan is entitled Proposed Pool Site Plan,
Right.
dated 2016. The plan, I don't see a pool on it. Was the pool never built, or is there not one out there?
The pool was never built. And it really was determined that a pool is not feasible out there just based on the small
That was
sliver.
exactly my question. Okay, very good, thank you.
Exactly, yep.
Okay, I have no questions. Sean?
No questions?
Tony?
No questions.
Thank you. I need a motion. Sean?
This is Sean. I move that we approve this under category B with, let's see, with the only condition being post-construction inspection by the Concom.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Sean, just for the sake of discussion, you and Al were monumental in doing the small projects, so that I would like you to make the motions only out of convenience. So,
I'll do whatever the chair requests of me, Mr. Napoli.
thank you.
Yes.
And
So now
Amy,
we-
this is the homeowner. You wanted me to remind you about the discussion we had about the rail fence.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. So while Taylor and I were out on the site, we met with the homeowner, and they have a split post and rail fence on one side of the yard. And there are 2 or 3 posts that are rotted, and they were hoping just to replace those posts. They'd keep the exact same, it's not like they would deconstruct the existing fence. They would just replace those 3 posts in kind. So we wanted to make sure you guys were okay with that.
Is it shown on the plan? I think so, isn't it? On the right side?
Yeah, yes,
Looks like it.
yep. The fence is called out on the plan as existing. Yes.
Amy, approximately where are the posts to be replaced?
I think they are, there's one that's, if you drew a line from wetland flag 8A, and then in between A7 and 8A, there's a couple.
Okay,
So the
toward
ones
the back.
outside the 25?
No, it's all, Sean, it's all in the 50.
Right, but the posts are outside the 25. There's
Yes,
some
they are.
posts that run inside and outside the 25 there.
No, the posts are outside.
Yeah, my thought would be okay with, post-construction inspection. That's okay with everybody else.
Okay.
You're right
Yeah, I
on
don't think-
target.
Go ahead,
You're
Lou.
right on, you're right on target, Sean. I thought I spoke to Amy about it today, but, okay. Sean, Jack, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. If the posts are outside the 25-foot no disturb, I don't have an issue with replacing them.
Okay, but why I said to Amy, because it's not in the application for the small project, but I just thought we could do that administratively. But now that you guys are all on board on it, that's fine, but we can't. We're just gonna allow, because it's not on the small project application, is it, Amy?
No, it came up
Hey.
during the site visit.
Lou, in an effort to cut through the bureaucratic numbers, there's like a section L, right? Can't we just do it all under a section L?
That's fine. That's fine. I just didn't want to convolute the small project application, which is the fence pole replacement outside the 25, but that's fine. That'll work.
All right, so I amend my motion to do it under an L with post-construction inspection. And the reason why it's under the L is because of the posts that are outside the 25 that are going to be replaced, the number between 2 and 3.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Next one is small project 267 White Hill Reservation.
So this comes from the trustees of reservations, and they're proposing to install a bench, a wooden bench under category L. Bench dimensions are 61 inches by 24 by 36, made of teak or ipe, and no preservatives will be used. The bench to be ground anchored and tether, duckbill brand, no footings, therefore there will be negligible ground disturbance. And the bench will be installed in a naturally open area over 50 feet from the resource area, which is Lake Kachipua.
We need somebody to mute Amy.
I know. Yeah, can I just remind everyone to mute themselves, please?
We'll get under the blanket. Get under the blanket.
All right. Okay. Maybe that worked.
Much better. No, it's still there.
No.
Yeah, check out the timeline. You're going to pick up a package on February 16th. All right. Hey, folks, can you do us a favor and mute your phones, please?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, so the bench will be placed in a naturally open area over 50 feet from the resource area, which is the bank to Lake Kachikowick and a very narrow fringe BBW. Deadfall management of the surrounding trees will be done to maintain safety. So I would say that this is approvable under a category L with post-construction site inspection with the Conservation Department to verify as-built conditions.
Very good. Any questions, Jack?
Yeah, just one. You know, a bench is so small. And in theory, this is easily approvable, I believe, under the small project bylaw. How are we going to be sure that it's more than 50 feet from the lake edge? We'll go ahead.
So the area was delineated. I reviewed the delineation in the field and pasted off. So it's definitely more than 50 feet. There's plenty of room to keep it out of there.
Is there a location identified that they're going to place the
Yes.
bench?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely stood there and walked and looked at it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no further questions. I agree with your recommendation.
Okay, and the trail separates the bench from the lake. The trail's in between it. So.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
I have just one comment. It's a kind of a commentary about society in general. If you put a bench there, people are inclined to leave things behind. So some sort of a innocuous sign that recommends people carry out what they carry in. I know it's a general policy of the reservation properties, but something just to prevent litter being left behind at the bench. That's all I have.
Oh, thank you. Joe, you got that, Amy?
Yeah, and I know Jeremy Dick with trustees is on with us, so I'm sure he heard that.
Okay, thank you. Sean?
I just have one question for Jeremy. It's going to be 50 feet or more away from the lake?
Jeremy,
Jeremy?
Are you with us? You may be muted.
I think
Here.
Okay. Well, the reason why I ask is the application says the bench will be placed at a minimum of 50 feet from the shoreline, not maximum.
well, Amy did the site.
And I assume it's just a typo because Joe had asked the really pertinent question that you saw where it's going to be. It's more than 50 feet away, but I just want to make sure that's clear because the application, it says minimum.
Yeah,
that would be correct. A minimum of 50 feet would means that it's greater than 50 feet away.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Tony?
No comments. My family and I use the Wire Hill, and I think an added bench is a great enhancement to the conservation.
Thank you. Sean, motion?
I move that we approve this as presented under a category L.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous.
And the only condition would be the approval of post-construction site inspection.
Do you want to add Joe's
On to
thought
L.
about some signage for littering or whatever?
Yes. Sean, did you hear that?
I did. So Joe, so we'll add that, as
Okay.
Joe had recommended. One or two signs.
Very good. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Next one is small project 56 Abbott Street.
Alrighty. Okay, so the commission will recall issuing a small project permit for this property for a part of a patio, which was 126 square feet. Upon, really thinking about it a little bit more, in depth, the applicant decided that they wanted to extend the patio to wrap around the existing hot tub. So connect the 126 square feet and then surround it around the hot tub, which is all behind the house. And the grand total of the patio area under the previous small project and this small project would be 281 square feet. And all sections of the patio will be outside the 50-foot no build zone. So this comes under a category F. And I had two suggested conditions: erosion controls be installed adjacent to the patio along the 50-foot no build, and that we review that installation, and then a post-construction inspection to verify compliance.
Very good. To the commissioner, I talked to him about this. They decided to extend the patio around their fire pit, I believe it was, and they asked for a modification on their small project, and we told them that there was no modification on a small project that they had to refile. So that's why this is before you with a extended small project. Jack?
Yeah, I guess my only question's procedural is the 281 square feet of patio compliant with the constraints of the category F project?
Yeah, it's 300 square feet max for patios.
Sounds like it complies. I have no other questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
No questions.
Sean?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
Thank you. Motion, Sean?
I move that we approve the project under a category F with the, whoops, let me jump around.
Oh.
This is going to be as a small project, correct?
Yes.
Versus the -3. So,
Right.
yeah, with what, the straw wattles, are those already there, or is that a condition that we're going to want to put here, Amy?
Just silt fence. It's
Yep.
silt fence for, when they were going to start the other part of the project, part of it's there. We'll just make sure it's really fully enveloped.
That and post-construction inspection?
Yep.
Okay, so moved as an F with those conditions.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous. Okay. Next one is a certificate of compliance for 242-1656, 95 Olcott Way.
Okay, so the commission will recall that I found the site to be in compliance, but we needed time for the erosion controls to be removed and the wetland markers to be installed, and that has been done. On my return site visit to verify that, Taylor and I were on site, and he noticed that there was some burning bush shrubs, and so I just wanted to bring it to the applicant's attention that, burning bush is banned in Massachusetts. He informed me that actually burning bush was on site before the project even started. He provided a letter from his contractor who in 2016 took up a lot of these burning bush shrubs and placed them aside for possible use. But only 6 out of numerous bushes were used. So in the end, the number of burning bush on site was reduced probably to like by 75%. So there was a great decrease in the number, but they weren't purchased because I thought maybe they were purchased as part of the landscape plan. But they were already on site, and actually a number of them were discarded and taken off site. So I didn't want to, the plan didn't really talk about landscape plants, or the order didn't, specify it either. But seeing pictures from when the project started, there was, plantings in the rear of the yard where all of the pool and patio were going. So the applicant, took advantage of what was there and transplanted. So I just wanted to, give you a follow-up on that regard. But otherwise, the site's in compliance.
Jack?
Yeah, Amy, I read through your write-up and really through all the documents on this, and am I right? Did I read it right that no planting plan was required by the order of conditions?
Correct.
Okay, and so from what I can see, the plan and the proposal was kind of mute as
Right.
far as plantings and relocated plantings, and so it wasn't as tight as maybe it could have been. Your recommendation was to issue, I think it was to issue a COC, and then maybe do control of the invasive burning bush as an EO after the fact. And in looking at that, I think that's probably the most prudent thing to do, in light of how this was handled. I think it was just nothing short of a misunderstanding, and unfortunately, the invasive species is a problem in the buffer zone to a wetland. So anyway, those are my comments, Lou. Unless there's questions about what I said.
No? Joe?
No, I would agree with everything Jack said. I'm all set. Thanks.
Thank you. Sean?
Just to get some clarity from what Jack is pointing to. So Jack, are you proposing that we grant the COC and then bring an EO to tell them to move them or get them out?
Yes.
Huh.
It's not what we normally do. I know it's not what we normally do, but it looks, when I looked at it again, I kind of thought to myself, well, it looks like the applicant did what they were asked to do. And I know they came back once before about the discharge from the pool filter, and we accepted that arrangement that they proposed. But I just, that's the rationale behind my recommendation.
Right, and I appreciate that. I appreciate where you're going with it, but my concern would be is there anything that makes having burning bush plants on your property that pre-exist the fact that they were prohibited? Is there a grandfathering in of burning bushes?
Well,
John, just let me interject here for a minute. If we enforced burning bushes in this town, we'd spend the rest of our life, trying to control these. Burning bushes are invasive, I agree. But if you drove through town, you'd be shocked how many people have burning bushes. And all that this guy did, he reduced the number, and he he only moved them. I hate to penalize this applicant for the 4 burning bushes that he has planted. I think this project has been ongoing for a long time, and I hate to crucify the guy for a couple of burning bushes.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Lou, and I didn't mean to make a mountain out of a molehill, because honestly, these shrubs were on site in 2016, and there had been numerous site visits with, Conservation Department staff and, erosion control monitor. So, and, the fact that they've been reduced by, 75% from what was there.
Yep.
I just wasn't aware of that. So, and again, I don't mean to make it difficult for the applicant, because, the site is in compliance.
So currently, is laid out, what is the distance of the closest burning bush to the wetland? Because I know Jack indicated a concern that it was invasive to the wetland.
Right. I would say a little over 50 feet. It's not in the 25.
Yeah. All right, well, I don't have any other questions. I don't even know my own decision on this one, but I don't have any questions.
John, this is Joe Lynch.
Yeah.
I actually, while we were listening, I got online, mass.gov, Department of Agriculture. Burning bushes were outright banned from the import from another state and planting in Massachusetts in 2016. And in fact, all existing ones can remain by the state Department of Agriculture regs.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Joe.
Joe, I was online too trying to find that, but I ended up into Weston Nurseries. but there were some other ones there too I did fall upon along the way, but I couldn't get to the question that the answer I was looking for, so thanks.
Tony?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with the burning bushes, in so much that my understanding is, as far as them being invasive, it's not like they propagate like knotweed. It's more that they keep growing and choking things out. So if they're part of the landscape, they're going to get maintained. And if they were existing, I don't have any issue with that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so is there any more questions?
I have a question. My question
Yes.
is, Jack, what's your thought at this point after going all the way around the horn?
Well, my thoughts are pretty much the same. I mean, Lou said if you drive around town, especially this time of year, those bright red bushes are everywhere. I mean, that doesn't make this right. I think the right approach is what Amy had recommended, to issue the certificate of compliance and to, if we want to require the removal of those burning bushes and maybe replacement with other more native shrubs, that we do that under an EO. So that's really the open issue as I can see.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with the COC.
Thank you, Jack. No, actually, it's a COC, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Are you satisfied with that, Jack? Sean?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we need a motion.
To issue a certificate of compliance?
Yes.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Can I, I'm the applicant, can I ask a question?
Sure, absolutely. Tom, go ahead.
So, there's a condition on the certificate of compliance or not?
Not.
No, not related
Okay.
to that issue.
No, at some point, if they want to issue an enforcement order, they can, but I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, well, I don't know, I hired a couple of contractors that started off on the wrong foot here. I've tried my very best to comply in every possible manner. And, not even knowing, it was more of a selection for, aesthetics that I had no idea when we were discussing this in 2016, what was illegal or what was legal. It's a complicated world we live in. It's just, I was just, fun with aesthetics. So, you know, and inadvertently, the amount of these plants were reduced dramatically. And, you know, I'm all for the environment. That's what my life's been about. I just don't want to, you know, be treated differently than anyone else, and have to, you know, if there's these plants all over the place, you know, I didn't plant these plants. I kind of
Inherited them.
inherited them. Yeah. And it was the contractor's recommendation that we blend them back in for aesthetic reasons. So I went along with it, but I guess my political leanings are less government. So
I think you're all right. I don't think that's going to happen because, as Mr. Lynch said, the plants were legal in 2016. There's a gray area, and by you reducing, and I'm well aware of this project. So I think you got your COC, so I think you're in good shape.
All right, thank you, members of the board. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next one, 24260. This is an old one. 242690, parcel COC for 46 White Birch Lane.
Right. So this order was issued in May of 1994, and it governed the construction of a detention basin related to the construction of Cherry Circle and White Birch Lane. 46 White Birch Lane is lot number 2 on the subdivision, and it does not contain any wetlands or associated buffer zones. And in fact, the property itself is over 600 feet from the wetland. It just that it came under the title search, and the property is in the midst of transaction, and attorneys would like a formal partial certificate of compliance to release the lot and clear the title. So I would recommend issuing the partial certificate of compliance for this lot, and in anticipation that the commission would ask, you know, what is the status of that detention basin. I've contacted the town engineer, John Bergese, and we believe it's, you know, under the town's responsibility. So.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Jack?
Yeah, if I recall, this is a site that is quite a bit distance outside the 100-foot buffer zone.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah,
probably 600 feet away.
yeah, I don't have an issue with this partial COC.
Thank you. Joe?
No questions.
Sean?
There's no bond release, Amy? Or is there even a bond to be released?
Oh Lord, good question. I bet you the person who posted it is long gone. I can't even. I don't know.
I don't. I'm thinking. I'm not even going to say anything because I might get myself in trouble. But Joe, if you look at who the contractors are, I know one is around, one might not be.
I wouldn't even get into that kind of discussion other than, oh no, but on a partial certificate of compliance, we never address the bond release question until the entire project comes into compliance. And if they never sought that, they're not entitled to a bond reduction. So it doesn't really matter who it is.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that was the case, that if there is a bond, it's not being released as a result of the PCOC.
Oh,
But
no.
John, you maybe deliberately or by accident asking a very loaded question, because I guess one could argue that if all of the individual lots from the subdivision have received partial certificates, what in fact remains to be released? So if at some point we've released the last lot, the question comes, now what do we do?
Right. But until we run upon there, I think because we won't know it when it happens, probably. So we'll always, I think, want to have language in there of some sort, just indicating there's no bond release. That was the only thought I had.
Recommendation.
That's very good, John, because at some point, when we don't have anything better to do, we'll discuss about outstanding bonds that are out there that people are no longer with us. And a lot of the bonds up on projects that even if we exercise the bond, it wouldn't even cover to fix the repairs. So at some point, we will address that. And I could throw the number up to you, but you are sitting, but if you were standing, you might fall down.
I would guess that it's well over 6 figures.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
It is. And I spoke to the previous town manager about it, and he said it wasn't worth our time. I haven't spoken to the new town manager, but at some point we should be addressed because there's a lot of money in limbo, and it's a shame that it's just sitting there, and neither party can get it.
So Lou, I don't know if it has to be put on an agenda, but maybe you should put on an agenda, or maybe we should form a, bond collection subcommittee and go ahead and obtain that, and be active to have steps taken to obtain that money. Because I'll tell you, if you look at this through not our eyes, but like a third party's eyes, they'd be like, what the hell are these guys doing and gals doing? They've got all these hundreds of $1,000s sitting out there. The town needs money for all these different things, and they do nothing about it. I mean, so I think inactivity is not the right move.
Well, I think you'd be the perfect person to be part of that.
I would, but I've recently been nominated to the Master Plan Implementation Committee. So I'm busy tomorrow between 4 and 6, Lou. But other than that, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help out any way I can.
I understand. My issue is it's not going anywhere. It's there. At some point, we have to address it. Since I became chairman, I've tried to address it, and I'm banging my head against the wall because it's a lot of money. And,
so I'm happy to be. I'm happy to be part of a member of that subcommittee to try to take action doing that. And I think Al would, is always very assertive. So Al would probably be a pretty good member for that. And I welcome anybody else that wants to join now that I kind of volunteered Al.
Well, to be truthful, I think we should wait until after the COVID virus, because the town hall and the legal attorney and us and you and everybody else is kind of like stressed out. So I think after this is over or reduced at all, I think we should address it, because, like I said, it's a lot of money, and I think at some point we should address it.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, it starts with an agenda item. So, I'll propose putting it on the agenda for the next meeting or the first one in 2021 or something like that, just to get the ball rolling, because if it doesn't get rolling, it never moves.
Okay. All right, Amy, why don't we do that? Why don't we put it for the first agenda meeting in January?
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, John, for your input. All right, next one is...
I don't think we voted, though, on Birch.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, need a motion for the partial COC on White Birch.
I move that we issue the partial COC for 242-690 46 White Birch Lane.
And further stating that no release of bond money be made in accordance with the partial release.
Second.
Yes, include that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. This is the applicant's attorney. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The next one is 242-1703, requested continue to 12/9.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Next one is 242-1757, 1650 Turnpike Street.
Okay, so 1650 and also 1620 Turnpike, 242-1758, came before the commission for the abandonment of an existing septic tank and installation of a 4-inch ductile iron sewer force main pipe and associated sewer manhole and pump chamber. And that was issued in July of 2019. Work took place in the 100-foot buffer zone to the isolated vegetated wetland and a bordering vegetated wetland, but outside the 25. When the work area was set up with erosion controls, the footprint of the work area actually was reduced. And so, you know, we have less impact than what was anticipated. Through the construction process, some boulders came up in the excavation and they were set aside along the edge of the 25-foot no disturb zone. They're outside the 25, but they serve as a nice barrier, natural barrier to that. An Ernst seed mix was spread to establish in the wooded area, and the remaining parts of the disturbed area was vegetated with grass, and everything's totally stable. And the wetland markers and the no snow stockpiling signs are installed as required. So I see no outstanding conditions on site that would prohibit issuance of a certificate of compliance. Erosion controls are removed, and recommend issuing full certificates for both orders.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Just to remind people of the commission of this project, Greg Hartford was the wetland scientist. And if you remember, it was a parallel dig from the back of the buildings in the back to run a sewer line along the building in the front, and they ran along the existing building and the wetlands, and they actually shrunk the excavation site. And I've been out there, and they did a really good job. I just want to let everybody know. Jack?
I have no questions on this.
Sean? Excuse me, Jack. John? Yeah, I'm doing good. Joe? Everybody starts with J.
I know.
Tony, Louis, you used to be my friend.
Yeah, that's right, I do.
Remember it a little bit differently. This, I think, might have been Amy's very first hearing.
I think it may have been.
Yeah, I remember it pretty well. It's great. I'm glad it worked. I have no questions.
All right. Sean? See, I got that one right.
Or John, but yes, no questions.
All right. Tony?
No questions.
Thank you. Motion?
I move that we issue the certificate of compliance for the two projects. Should do them both at the same time, Lou?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
242-1757, 1650 Turnpike Street, and 242-1758, 1620 Turnpike Street.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 And opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you, everybody. Next one is an RDA, 257 Boxer Street.
Okay, so this was continued from the last meeting, and it's basically, it started out as a in-kind deck replacement with an addition of a screen porch with a roof on a portion of that deck. Upon visiting the site, there was some issues that needed to be addressed relating to runoff coming from a drainage grate in front of the garage, that the grate itself was not working properly. The homeowner dug a trench to relieve that flooding. has since repaired that grate and that drainage area and doesn't need that trench anymore. The tree, there's a maple tree that's going to be removed, and the area seeded for lawn. The tree is encroaching into the corner of the garage. And so at the last meeting, the commission required that the applicant provide the plan that kind of depicted all of the things that needed to get done so that the plan was easily approvable under an RDA. And we have a revised plan that shows all of that. The existing deck footings will not be touched, so they'll remain. And a crushed stone drip edge will be added to capture the roof runoff from the screened-in porch. And there'll be crushed stone added underneath the deck. So I think the revised plan and revised narrative addressed what the commission asked for. And I would recommend closing the hearing and issuing a negative determination number 3. And I have a couple of suggestions for conditions, unless you guys want questions from me, I can go into the conditions.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Jack, any questions?
Yes. I guess the plan isn't as clear as I'd hoped it would be. I think it's clear that they're going to fill that trench that,
yes,
that was dug to take out that minor drainage problem. But what is the solution to that now? I mean, is that shown on the plan?
Well, the narrative talks about the fact that the drainage grate has been fixed, and so it's working now, and the trench is no longer needed to relieve that flooding if a rainstorm were to come. So the narrative talks about it for sure, and that can be part of the record.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it seemed like last meeting we were pretty close on this. We just needed to resolve that drainage issue. That looks like it was kind of a minor change in the project plan. So, I mean, I guess I have no other questions at this point. But while you guys are asking your questions, I'm going to be reading through a little bit more carefully on this narrative to make sure I'm okay on it.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Jack. Joe?
Just a point of clarification. I want to make sure I understand it. I think I do. The initial work for the drainage ditch was because they had an existing drainage system near the garage that got clogged, or somehow its function was defeated.
Right.
As a stopgap measure, he dug this diversion ditch so he wouldn't flood out his garage. But since then, has cleared the trench, the drain, and therefore the trench is no longer needed. So
Correct.
It's not like he's got any more repair work to do. It's been done. This just simply documents that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any questions on that. Now, there was some tree pruning and tree removal you want to do. That's now more clear on the plan?
Yes, it is.
Always clearer initially.
No, it wasn't as clear initially, but it is now. Yeah.
Okay.
A single tree, it's 40 feet from the wetland. It is encroaching into the side of the house where the proposed screened-in porch, it's actually touching the garage right now. Limbs are, up against it. So, but that was, clarified in this submittal, this revised submittal.
Okay, and just what's still not clear to me is on the ditch that he did dig and no longer needs, does he need to do any further work to put it back to where it was that we should be addressing as part of this filing?
No, he also talks about filling or loaming and, or filling in the trench, loaming and seeding, and placing erosion controls at the terminal end and making sure that if there's any loose sediment, that gets removed.
So that is, the restoration or the repair is part of
Yeah.
this filing now. Okay, I'm all clear. Thank you.
I just verified that in the narrative, Joe. That's what I was doing while you were talking. It is pretty clear.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to be devil's advocate here. The drain in front of the garage, and then they cleared the drain, and Joe, and I know you'll agree with me. The water coming from the drain from the driveway where the grate is, I guarantee you it's being deposited into the wetland. The pipe, I guarantee you that pipe goes all the way into where the drain is, which it's fine. I mean, everybody in the world does it, but just so everybody knows where that water is going. I mean, it just doesn't go into the drain, a drain on the driveway and just disappears. That water's got to go somewhere. So I guarantee you that's where it's going.
Yeah, but this is an old house on a well-established piece of property. It was probably a lot in the day, and back in the day, you're allowed to install things that need certain maintenance, and they can come ask permission to maintain it. So
Right.
I think that's what we're talking about on this.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, it's probably been there forever. I mean, and I'll be truthful. I installed many of these drains when I was in the driveway business, but that's the end of there. Also, I don't know the diameter of the tree. I would say it's like, sometimes weeds go along a building, and sometimes there's a seed from a maple tree. I don't know what the diameter is. I'm sure it's not that big. And I would say, hopefully it's going to be dug by hand. I would like the applicant to at least, or Amy, you could verify it when you do your pre-construction.
Yeah.
That tree is going to be dug by hand, because they're going to be up against the foundation. With an excavator, the guy better be good.
I would say that the tree is like 10-inch diameter
It's that big?
at the most.
Okay.
It's not small. It's not a sapling, but it's not like, it's not like a 20-inch diameter,
But I'd be very cautious about an excavator up against a building.
Mhm.
But is that in the buffer zone?
Yeah,
I can't see. It is.
Yeah. yeah. It's about 40
So-
feet or
So
40 feet
I mean,
plus in the wetland.
I'll leave it up to commission, but I think it should be dug by hand. But that's my
Or ground,
thing with
ground down.
well, they can't grind it up against the building. That I don't
Yeah,
think they can get that close.
yeah, I don't think they'll be that close to, I think they're just trying to get rid of the tree because it's encroaching into the house in terms of limbs. And I think grinding it would probably be fine.
Yeah, I don't. But you said it's up against the foundation, I believe, right?
Well, I mean, it's within, say, 15 feet of the house.
Oh, I thought it was right up against the foundation.
Just that it just grew so wide. Branches are branching out,
Yeah.
and the branches are hitting.
Oh, I would say cut and grind.
Cut and grind.
I thought it was right up against the foundation.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
no questions. Sean?
Amy, I see the wetland on the diagram. Is it mowed up to the wetland? Is there a tree buffer or bush buffer?
It's mowed. I can look at my photos again. It's not like it's treed. No, it's not forested. It's more like an open meadowy type.
Right up to the wetland?
Yeah.
and they have the right to do that because this has been there for so long, is that right? Pre-existing, for the
Um,
bylaw?
I wouldn't, I'm not saying that, no, but
I know one of the other commissioners had mentioned that it's a really old property, it's been there for forever, so I didn't know if that was the justification for allowing that.
let me just see.
Is there an applicant out there that can maybe answer that question?
Yeah, Kyle, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just, it's the hill that goes down to the wetlands, and it's all grass. So we mow it. I didn't know that wasn't okay. I mean, I didn't want like overgrowth going on, but we don't, we obviously don't mow into the wetlands, but we mow the lawn, up until the wetlands.
It's funny.
And how long how long have you owned the house, Kyle?
2.5 years.
And how long that's been going on?
What? I'm not sure I quite understand.
Do you know how long that's been going on? That's been mowed all the way up from the corners of your backyard to the wetland.
I would assume forever because it's it's basically a lawn. It's nice grass there and everything.
Do you know what year the house was built?
91.
91. So this did come in front of us in 1991, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the question I have. It's not really the redoing of the existing deck. It's just why is the property doesn't have a 25-foot buffer?
Am I not supposed to mow the grass within 25 feet?
That is the law, or the regulation to be more specific. But but if things go on, Kyle, that existed before our bylaw, then they kind of get grandfathered in. That's why I was asking if you knew how long it had been going on and when the house was built. But 91 doesn't fit the equation for what I was thinking it was, pre-existing or grandfathered in.
Yeah, I mean, when we bought the house, I mean, the wetlands are pretty clear. It was really tall wetlands, and the grass just basically goes down the hill, and it's a huge backyard. There's grass all above the wetlands. So I mean, if I didn't mow it, it'd just be all overgrown, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, it was like that when we bought the house.
Yeah,
I wasn't just mowing wetlands. That's for sure.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you just continued what was existing when you moved in.
Yeah, I bought a right-on lawnmower. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. So I don't know what my other commissioners' thoughts are as to whether or not we should try to create some kind of buffer there for a house that was built in 1991, unless we have something on record that shows that was allowed.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Not to complicate a simple in-place replacement.
Tony, do you have any input?
No, I'm just looking at it on Google Earth right now, and it looks like from the main wetlands that, the maintained lawn, I'm scaling about 15 feet off. So it's not like he's right up on top of the wetlands. And, if you look at it on Google Earth, it's a big, wide open kind of pasture area. So I could see how the mistake was made.
Okay, thank you. Sean, we could, if you want, I mean, I hate to, penalize this applicant because he's looking at something that he bought and didn't know. So maybe some posts and placards would be okay. He's not, as Tony stated, he's not right up against it. Or we can just let it lie where it is and just say he's making him aware. But if he sells the house, then all bets are off. So I'm leaning toward placards. Anybody there?
Yeah, I was going to add to that, Lou. If you wanted to go even a step further, you could have a vegetated buffer that would be, as effective as the placards. I guess we don't know how much of a buffer zone, how much of the no disturb zone is undisturbed. And I guess that's what we're missing at this point. I mean, we could condition monumentation at the 25 foot, or a lesser distance, since this is in kind of an existing lot that may predate our 25 foot no disturb. But maybe we could consider that. I agree with your monumentation part. And if we wanted to go a little further, we could require some plantings there.
Well, I think that if you leave it alone, it'll take over its own. I hate to penalize this applicant for doing plantings or farmer's wall or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Tony said, he just did Google and the guy's within 15 feet. I'm kind of like, I hate to penalize the applicant for a deck, and he next thing ends up losing his yard. So I think we should just plaque it so he's aware that that's as far as he can mow. And I think the vegetation will run its course. That's my personal opinion.
So placard at the monumentation at the 15-foot setback?
No, was it 25?
25. Okay.
Yes. And then the vegetation from 15 to 25 will eventually regrow. I think it will.
Yep.
And then we'll have a vegetation to the wetland line. To the 25, I should say.
That'll work.
I'm more than game with everybody else. Joe, you have any input on this?
No, I just tried to wiggle back into the public record and see if we get a better clarification on it. So yeah, I was able to verify from the assessors it was built in 91. I went to the registry of deeds. Back in 91, we didn't require them to record orders of conditions. And I searched from 1989 right up to 1995 to see if there were any order conditions at that address, and there aren't any recorded. So short of checking our own records, I think we got to assume it is in fact grandfathered.
Okay, that's fine then. That's fine with me also. John?
Joe, when you say you assume it's grandfathered, I'm not sure I know how you came to that conclusion based upon what you said. Can you say that again?
So I searched the assessor's records first and verified that the house was built in 1991. That's pretty clear. So given that, would assume that the permission to build this lot would have been granted sometime prior to 1991, or maybe even including 1991. So I went to the registry of deeds and searched the records at that address from 1980 through 1995, and no such recording came up for order conditions. So back in the day, we didn't require those orders of conditions to be recorded at the registry.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question as to, whether or not there was, whether 20, are you saying, what makes you say that it predates the bylaw, if that's what you're saying?
I don't think we had a 2550 in there before 91.
I think we did. I thought it was in the 80s. That's always been my understanding. Like 86, I thought was the year.
I think it's when our bylaw was created, but I think the 2550 came in much later.
In terms of regulations, so in 91, it was a policy as opposed to a regulation. Because I had noted that in 1991, the commission approved a modification when this house was under construction to allow the deck to be built off the rear of the house within the 50-foot no-build zone. And a certificate of compliance was issued.
Yeah.
So.
And in that record, do they speak of the mowing question? I mean, that's what's on the table.
Not at all. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing of it is it's a part of record that they asked for on outside for the 50. That means the 25 was was instituted. I don't think we had the 50 without the 20. I don't know. I wasn't around then.
I would
But
agree.
did you have a 20? Did you have a 50 first and then went to a 25, Joe?
No, I believe we had the bylaw first, which didn't have any restrictions with regards to summons with 20 or establishment of a 25 or 50, neither. And in fact, many times, even when we got the 25, 50 in place in the, I'm going to say mid 90s. It was like 93, 94 when that came in place. Even then, it was waived pretty regularly.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Al would have more recollection than I, perhaps, because he was around a couple years before me. But that's as I remembered. So I mean, we're right on the cusp of when this house was built. So we I guess it's a little bit of speculation on my part, but I think with all the other activity we've seen out there, and in the mowing being what it is, I think it's been something that's pretty well established, but I don't know that for certain.
Okay. So it seems to be, it seems to be the general consensus that what's been going on there is permissible. However, I think we should dock something so that in the future, the next person doesn't continue to go even farther. So I think we should monument something. I don't think we should penalize the applicant because he didn't know and he bought the house with the backyard the way it is. So, but I think moving forward, I think it should be documented. Sean?
Yeah, so the work's already done, is that correct?
What kind of?
Yeah, so this is, everything's done, and this is just a kind of more or less approving a post-RDA, right?
No.
So it
not
hasn't
the
been
deck. No, it isn't.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was just thinking about the trench
Yeah,
aspect
well, the
is done.
trench was discovered on my site visit in
Yeah.
response to an RDA for a deck.
So, I mean, I do think the RDA is approvable. I do think there should be some monumentation of a buffer zone in place. I heard Tony mention that looking at Google Maps, he thought it was about 15 feet away. It'd be better to have Amy make that determination on site. So I would propose if there's some way that we can approve the RDA, realizing that one of the conditions is going to be markers and allowing growth a certain distance away that will be determined by our administrator, to me seems like the quickest way to get this thing moving forward, if everybody's in agreement.
That sounds good. Tony, you have any questions? Recommendation?
No, I think that sounds fair. I mean, I'm not looking to penalize someone who just moved into a house and may not have been aware. I think he, is now aware, and I think if we maintain the existing limited disturbance that he has, it protected in perpetuity if we put the placards there. So I have no issue with that.
Great, thank you. All right, so we need a motion for the RDA, and we can condition that, right? Although we don't have. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we need a motion.
This is Sean. I'll give this a shot. Negative number 3 determination with the following conditions. Trial work erosion controls consisting of silt sock installed at the terminal end of the trench and perimeter of the tree removal area. Site visit with the Conservation Department will be scheduled to review the same. Number 2, a post-construction site inspection. And 3, meeting with the conservation administrator to determine the proper distance to set up markers and to allow regrowth of land if necessary between the wetland and the mowed area, future mowed area.
Mm-hmm.
Super.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
And those opposed, unanimous. No answer. Okay. So we're there.
Yeah. So Amy, on that one, you'll go out there, you'll look, you'll see where it is. If it needs to, come out another 5, 7, 10 feet, you'll let us know, or you'll have some communication with Lou on that. If it's good where it is and you think it's a reasonable distance to protect the wetland, you'll tell them that too, and you'll set up the markers right there. Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is an amendment, no, excuse me, 81 Paddock Lane.
Oh, no, what is it?
No?
Abbott Street.
226.
Oh, I'm sorry, 226 Abbott Street. I got my things all messed up here.
All right.
226 Abbott Street.
Okay, so this comes under an RDA and I had consulted with Lou on this one as well. So this is a hardscape and landscape project located 71 feet from the edge of DBW. It includes a 2-foot tall landscape stone wall, permeable bluestone walkway, permeable bluestone patio, a pea stone patio, and landscape plantings. The front of the roof line of the house will receive a formal stone drip edge to encourage infiltration. All work is within a grassy lawn area at the front of the house, requiring no removal of mature or woody vegetation. The commission will recall recently approving reconstruction of the front stairs and installation of a portico over those stairs, and that was 91 feet from the wetland. So we received a little more clarification with the planting list and means and methods, so that could be incorporated as part of the record, which I forwarded it to you guys. If we can go through that if you want to, but so if you want my recommendation, or if you have questions.
Yes, want your recommendation.
Okay. All right. So I think this would with the additional information that we received with means and methods and planting plan, we could close the hearing and issue a negative number 3 determination with conditions that would require erosion controls being installed. Straw wattle is already there, just making sure there's enough to fully protect the wetland. Plants should be native to England that would be installed in the landscaped areas, and then a post-construction site inspection with the Conservation Department to verify as-built conditions.
Okay, thank you. Just so everybody knows that the project will be done in front of the house, so it's not in the back where where the wetlands are. Okay, Jack, any questions?
No, I have no questions on this one.
Thank you. Joe?
No questions.
Sean?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
Thank you. Motion.
I move that we issue a negative 3 determination for 226 Abbott Street with pre-construction inspection, including erosion controls, requiring plants native to New England to be installed in landscape beds, and then post-construction inspection by the conservation administrator.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Amy, this is Russell. Can I ask you a quick question?
Go right ahead.
So the existing straw wattle that you've inspected is on site, it's installed.
Yeah.
So do you want to come back out and see that again, or?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, there's enough of it, there's enough of a length to protect kind of, this area in front of the house.
Okay. Second question in regards to the plantings. There about half of this project is outside of the 100-foot. Is it okay that if there's some plantings that aren't 100% native to New England as part of this, if they're outside of the 100? Because everything here is well beyond 70.
So they're not necessarily native to New England, but they're not invasive or aggressive.
Right. There's nothing invasive. It may not be a 100% native planting.
Okay, I don't know. Question for the commission.
What is the reasoning behind that?
Aesthetic.
Okay, I'm not a big fan of non-native plants, but I'll defer to my fellow commissioners. Jack?
Well, my first thought is if it's outside the 100-foot jurisdictional area, why, I don't think we have any legal standing to specify what's planted outside of 100 feet. If it's inside of 100 feet, I think we go with our administrator's recommendation that they be native to New England.
Okay.
Thank you. Joe?
I completely agree with what Jack just said. Again, the overriding criteria is outside the 100-foot. It doesn't fall in our jurisdiction, but the Department of Agriculture has that list of banned plants, period, and they can be anywhere in the state. So, but I don't think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about just non-natives as opposed to invasives.
Correct.
Okay. Sean?
No questions.
Tony?
Yeah, no, I didn't see anything on the planting list that seemed out of whack. I have no issues with what he's proposing.
Well, I don't think the planting plan listed is outside the buffer zone. Is that correct, Russell?
Some is.
Yeah, the whole project itself, about half of this front patio, if you will, is within the 100 and the other half is outside of it. So what my point was, you know, I understand planting natives within the 100 portion, but beyond it, if we introduced some of these plants that are non-native but yet non-invasive, just typical garden plants.
Okay. No, I'm not affluent in the garden variety. I would just suggest that you run anything you're going to plant.
Yeah.
In front to Amy.
Understood.
So, right. This way we don't have any issues. That's the only question I have.
You got it. Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So remind me, we have a motion. Do we?
I think we had a
motion in a second, correct?
Yeah, a completed motion. I think?
Yeah, I thought we voted it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. We had the discussion, so I didn't know. All right, so we're good, Russell. Just like I said, Amy, you know, if he wants to put some other plants out there,
yep,
he has to run it by you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. All right, the next one is that's Abbott. Next one is 81 Paddock.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Amy.
Yes.
This is Tom Quinn, Quince Construction Road. Before you start, I have a problem here. The way the plan shows the deck expansion.
Yeah.
On the plan, it doesn't go back. It goes sideways towards the driveway. It's 6 feet out from the deck by the width, and it goes out towards the driveway.
Oh. Okay.
It's not going further. It's not going further away from the house. The footprint's going to stay the same as far as the depth of the footage from the wetlands to the back of the deck. It shows 68 feet.
Yep.
All right, that's not going to be true. It's going to be more like 74.
Okay. All right. I thought that was a weird bump out.
Yeah, it's going the other way. It's going towards the driveway, 6 feet.
Okay. All right. All right. So this application is for a deck reconstruction, and there is a 6 by 8 feet, Tom.
No, it'd be 6 by 16 foot, 8 inch, 16 by 6 by 16 foot.
6 by 16 foot. Okay. So the expansion is running alongside the house toward the driveway, not jutting out towards the wetland.
Right. It comes out 6 feet from the existing deck, 16 out, and it goes towards the existing driveway.
Okay. All right. All right. So, so it's just a matter of shifting that expansion, alongside toward the driveway. There are 2 sets of existing stairs that will be reconstructed, and a new pad and landing platform for those. The grand total, I counted, Tom, 11 concrete footings altogether, but there's,
Well, some of them are existing. but
right,
there will only be 2 new concrete footings.
oh, 2 new, okay,
Yeah, just 2. Because the existing deck's staying, we're just changing the deck boards on it, and we're putting new railings on it, but the frame's staying.
okay, all right. Okay, so the closest point of the deck will be 74 feet to the wetland.
Yeah, or maybe 74 feet or more.
Yeah, yep. So I reviewed the wetland delineation in the field and I found that to be accurate. So the wetland delineation is fine. You know, the deck is going to be within, you know, an area that's already disturbed with existing deck and then over a walkway. So I guess we just need an updated plan to clearly show what the actual footprint and where the extension is going. But I mean, but aside from that, I mean, I think this is a perfectly approvable project under a -3 with requiring that any soils that are excavated from footing be taken off site and a post-construction site inspection be held with the Conservation Department. So I think another condition would be getting an updated plan. But the commission can go ahead and ask questions.
All right, Jack?
Yeah, I agree with Amy. This does look like an approvable negative RDA. You know, how do we deal with the change in the plan? We don't have an accurate plan right now. You know, we could continue this to next meeting for the accurate plan and the accurate setback. Alternatively, we could require that we could approve the negative RDA, but not issue it until we get the actual plan, where the actual plan will show the new deck to be no less than 74 feet from the closest wetland line. I don't know how you want to go on this. I mean, the safest thing for us, the more by the book, is to continue it to the December meeting and do it all at once. You know, do it right with all the materials in front of us.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
Yeah, I agree with Amy's initial assessment and Jack's summary of that. I think we'd be sticking our necks out a little bit, even though good faith is probably justified. But I think you know, dotting the I's and crossing the T's and getting the documents in place ahead of time is what we typically do.
Thank you. I'm a little disappointed, and I'm reading Amy's recommendations. I was looking forward to you to dig 11 holes, 12 inches in diameter and 4 feet by hand. I think that would have been quite a show to watch. but I'm in agreement with my fellow commissioners. We try to be consistent and as best we can, and the plan does not reflect the application. So I think we should continue it till the next meeting. Sean?
I'm in agreement and I have no questions.
Thank you. Tony?
I mean, I understand the description and extending it 6 feet. I'd be happy if we conditioned receipt of the plan, but I will also go along with the continuance if it doesn't cause undue hardship on the applicant.
Thank you.
It's going to cause a hardship, I'm sorry, because the frost is coming and the woman is having a baby. I have the plan right here with the change made on it that I could send over to you.
So you have a corrected plan in your possession right now?
Yes, I do.
Is it electronic?
I can scan it and send it to you.
Could you do that?
Okay.
And then, if I would be able to
You
share.
want to, Mr. Chairman, if it's to everybody's liking, we can table this discussion to the end of the meeting, and if we receive the plan, we can continue the discussion about the revised plan.
Correct. So
Thank you.
I move that we table this application toward the end of the meeting.
I second the chairman's motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Next one
Thank you.
is, thank you. 242-1780, 1230 Salem Street.
All righty, the commission will recall opening the hearing and holding discussion at the last meeting. And this is an amendment to an existing order of conditions that governs the construction of a new single-family house and associated driveway and septic system. The prospective buyer wanted to amend the plan to include a pool and associated patio, a rear sunroom, and changing the rear deck to a patio. The commission asked for some more clarifying information regarding the full scope of a patio around the pool, pool equipment or shed, and a cross section of the retaining wall, and so that's clearly depicted and understood. So the commission received a revised plan that shows a more comprehensive pool patio, shows a shed, has a cross section of the retaining wall and in relation to the pool deck, and a plan view for where that cross section is. So I believe that we have all the information that's more realistic for someone to want to build a pool. And if you have any questions for me or the
Thank you, Amy. Chuck?
Yeah, I'm looking at everything, and I think he gave us what we asked for. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
Agree. We have everything we need, everything we asked for. Thanks.
Okay. The only thing I just want to bring the commission's attention, I spoke with the building inspector today, and he, on a pool application moving forward, he's going to use a cartridge system, has to be required on a building permit, so we don't have to go crazy making sure that it's on there. I mean, we'll continue doing it until we're sure, but I spoke to him today, and he says he thought it was a good idea. So I just want to let you know. I have no questions. Sean?
No questions?
Tony?
No questions.
Thank you. Motion?
Mr. Commissioner, Eric Nietzsche here, the engineer for the applicant is present in the conversation.
Okay.
I guess they don't have any questions for you, Eric.
No, I understand that. I'm glad to hear that, but I just want to acknowledge that I'm present for any questions by the chairman of the other commission.
Thanks.
I understand that. You have to justify your check. Okay. So we need a motion.
So I'd recommend closing the hearing and issuing an amended order, and I've drafted an amended order for your consideration tonight.
Okay.
Before we move on that, is the retaining wall detail adequate? Joe, do you have an opinion on that? Hate to put you on the spot.
Let me open it back up. I had just closed it. Sorry about that.
Antibiotics, antioxidants.
It's a busy plan.
I'll get you back.
Jack, could you just reference me where the wall would be? It's a bit, kind of a busy plan.
Yeah, it's on the side of the deck. It's actually in between the wetlands and the pool.
Okay, thank you.
You see it?
Well, I'm in the general vicinity thereof.
So they cut a cross-section line diagonally through the patio pool area and the wall area, which is what you would do. He's showing the depth to which the retaining wall would be installed for frost cover, and then the height of above that from the existing grade. I mean, it's what the building inspector would need it as a minimum in order to issue a building permit for the wall. But how does that relate? I guess I don't see how far it is from the cross section, how far that is from the erosion control line, but the plan shows how far it is from the erosion control line, and
Yeah.
it's pretty good. And the resource area is still a great distance beyond that. So I think we get what we need, but it doesn't address. Let me look at that cross section again.
It looks like it's more of a conceptual depiction of what a retaining wall is, rather than an actual, segmented block and with, silt screen or, sediment screen behind it, that type of thing.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the cross sections. You're talking about a detail. No, you could not build a retaining wall from what is shown on the plan or the cross section. You would need a detail. That would be required as part of the building permit. That would typically be something that would be submitted to us as part of this proceeding, and we don't have it. So yeah, whether it's boulders, segmental blocks, or timbers, we don't have any of that. And I guess if this were to fail in any particular area from a conservation perspective, it's likely to be the wall. So yeah, I don't think we have it yet. Sorry.
Yeah, we should have a cross section of the wall. It looks like I'm trying to get the height. It's not that high, is it, Joe? Was it 4 feet?
If I may contribute some information on that retaining wall. Again,
Sure.
Eric Nietzsche, the engineer. Over by the south side of the pool, the wall will be at grade, and then as you go northerly, in the northerly direction, parallel with the erosion control line, the maximum height of that retaining wall will be 4 feet. And then as you make that bend to go westerly, the height of the retaining wall goes down to natural grade or existing grade. So only at that corner bend of that retaining wall will that be a maximum height of 4 feet.
Okay.
Which keeps it out of the building inspector's building code.
Exactly.
So if we need to see, so do you know, Mr. Nietzsche, what it is they're proposing to put in? Is it a block wall?
I did speak to the applicant, and he says, depending upon what they find through construction on site, the one option would be to use boulders that are on site, and obviously those boulders would be 2-3 foot in diameter size for say that maximum height of 4 feet at that corner of the retaining wall. Mind you, if we find large boulders, it will be just maybe 2 courses of boulders. It could be a concrete retaining wall, concrete poured in place. It also could be a Versalock or a segmental block wall that would be structurally designed. I'm not a structural engineer. I'm a civil engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand your concern, Jack and Joe, but like I said, the plan is right busy at that section that I'm looking at. It's out of the 50, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so it would be nice to know what the structure is. I would like to see a block wall, versus stone, because it'd be the benefit of the applicant, because the pool pressure is right there
Right.
at that point.
Exactly what I was looking at as you were talking. It's not just retaining earth, it's literally retaining a filled pool, right in that close area. And it's, but that has to be engineered. And I think by the testimony we just heard, it has not been. The civil has been done, but with regards to lateral pressure from hydro and the proximity of that wall, it's something you cannot field engineer as you're digging it. You got to know what the heck you have up front, and I don't think we have it yet. And maybe shame on me or shame on all of us for not flagging out earlier. I think we thought we were going to be more substantial.
Well, we did ask for a detail on the retaining wall, and what we got was maybe, not what we were looking for. So I don't think it's unfair to send them back, honestly.
I think so too in this instance. It's I think it's where this project could compromise the resource area, and that's what we're here to do. And we don't have that information to get that in order conditions to assure it.
Can I speak to the applicant, please? Well, if I may suggest, could you make it a condition to the order that it would be a particular type of wall that you would like to see that is going to be structurally designed by a structural engineer?
Well, we need some documentation. We can't. Not that I don't want to. I'm not calling you a liar, but I'm just saying we need some type of documentation. Because I'm looking at the other plan, and the 3-foot concrete patio that you have goes right up against the wall. So now you really have to have it structurally designed, because now you got everything going against the wall and nothing behind it. So
yeah, what we have in front of us is a concept. It's a if done right and analyzed properly and documented well, it's probably very likely to be permittable. But we don't have any of that to get it to that point, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think what we understood from the last hearing was you were looking for a cross-sectional cross section, and those are exactly, you were looking for a cross section of the pool for they incorporated the retaining wall, and based on that, that's what we provided. Now, if you're looking for additional information as far as a structurally designed wall, I'm fully confident that we could acquire the services of a structural engineer and to come up with a wall that goes from 0 height to a 4-foot height back down to a 0 height wall going onto the east side of the pool.
It's almost ironic that I have to even say it, but when notice of intent comes before us, we're acting upon something that is going to be built. And from what we have submitted, we can't tell you, you can't tell us what it is that's going to be built and how it's going to be built and how it's going to be protected. You've got a row of erosion controls, and you've got work close proximity to it that is not insignificant. It's a retaining wall with other factors with regards to pool pressure loads and things that we recognize as being significant, but not addressed in the filing. So, I mean, it's really an inadequate filing. I think we can go round and round and round and round. The reality is we don't even have enough information to issue to even have a discussion any further than we've been having. We need to know what you're building, and you can't tell us what you're building.
No, that's correct. I'm not a structural engineer. I'm only a civil. But if we were to make it a condition to the order that we come up with a stamp plan of a retaining wall that will take care of the 3-foot wide concrete walk that goes around the side of the pool with the hydrostatic pressures of a 4-foot tall pool extending out of the ground. That will bear the pressures for a retaining wall, whether it be segmental block or large block or concrete retaining wall or boulder wall. I mean, if that can be provided to the commission, I mean, I think that would suffice for the commission members as long as we have information provided from a structural engineer.
The problem is we can't approve the application because we don't have that information. That's why if you could have it for the next meeting, we could have the decision already written, so that you really wouldn't lose that much time. But you know, if it's a 4-foot wall, that means there's 4 feet of water, 3 feet away, pushing against that wall. So we got to make sure the wall is structurally sound.
Lou, there's more than that. The depth of the pool is also pushing against the buried foundation part of the retaining wall. So it's not
true.
It's not a simple thing to simply condition. I would urge that we not even consider such a thing. It's something we would never do.
I agree. So the applicant is up there. So what I would recommend is you continue, and you know what we're looking for. I don't think there's anything else. Do you have anybody have any questions, Sean? Or on this project?
No, Lou.
Can the applicant speak, please?
Yep, Steve, go ahead.
Hey, this is Steve Brown. The pool itself is structurally sound. It does not require a retaining wall. It's called a radiant pool. I have one in my house right now. It's built semi into the ground, and it actually comes out about 2 feet and sustained just like an above ground pool. It just happens to be buried.
So you should have great confidence that you're going to get a quick turnaround on your structural design that's going to show it on the plan so it gets built that way so we can permit it. You should have great confidence that you've got something that's relatively easy.
Tony, do you have any input on this?
No, I'm looking at it. So the radiant pools, my understanding, those are fiberglass tubs, but the hydrostatic load would still be there on the wall. And then if you went with like cast in place, the toe of that wall is going to get considerably larger and may extend under the pool. And if that's not feasible, then it would go back in the other direction towards the wetlands. So knowing the type of wall, I think is important. And I think even for the homeowner, taking a look at the ramifications, because if you build a cast in place wall and then you have the toe under the pool and that wall fails, it could get quite expensive for any repairs in the future.
Great. Thank you, Tony. The applicant is on the phone, so you kind of really know what we're looking for. That wall is, you may not think it's critical, but I think it is. You just heard 3 commissioners or 4 commissioners, and possibly 5, state that they have concerns about the retaining wall. So I would strongly suggest you can continue and get a structural engineer in here to give us depiction of the wall, and to say that the retaining wall will hold the load of the pool against itself.
Okay.
It's only like Tony said. It's only for your protection also. I know we're here to protect the wetlands, but if that wall fails, you have an issue.
I understand that portion. Is it possible to continue with the rest of the project? I have a hardship with my wife, who is also pregnant, like the applicant, and the pool is not important, but getting the house ready for the end of her pregnancy is. So I mean, I don't particularly care about the rest of the to get underway before the frost.
Yeah, I don't think you're going swimming too soon.
So do you want to withdraw this request for amendment? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, anything I need to do, I'm more than happy to reapply. The reason why we did the pool this soon was because part of the condition of buying the land was to get everything through conservation. Since the last meeting, we already closed on the land, confident that everything was going to go through. But the main goal of this is to actually be able to go forward and build the house, and I can represent the pool and the retaining wall in the spring if that's what it takes.
Okay, that would work. Joe, would it work?
It would work, but it seems to, so what do we have now? We still have the original filing that's before us, which is just for the house itself, but not the pool. So by
For a
this discussion
different-
we're having now, we'd be taking the pool.
It's a different arrangement for the house, I
It
think.
already has an existing order of conditions in place, right?
Exactly, yes. Yep.
So what does that do for you by taking it off the table now? Amendment can still move forward at any time in the future. It's the same end effect. You can move forward with your project as permitted, not including the pool, everything you already had, and just leave this on the table until you get it back to us. And so I think withdrawing it is premature.
Okay, I'm perfectly happy with that. I was under the understanding I couldn't cut a tree into the driveway yet until the pool was approved.
Oh, you would need to satisfy all of the original order of conditions for the original project, which is the house, I suppose. Posting the bond and erosion controls in place and signage and recordings and whatnot. Those things all still need to be done. But you can amend your application, which is what's before us, at any time prior to getting a certificate of compliance. Just don't do the work, that other work, the pool. I think it's premature to withdraw tonight.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. I don't do this every day, so I'm not that familiar with it. But so I can work off the existing order of conditions up into any other changes that haven't yet been approved.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. No, that's exactly what I'm asking for. So yes, I do agree. It would be premature to withdraw. I was just concerned with the timeline that extending it another few weeks would create. But I'm more than happy to come back and work off the existing order and work on the amendment going forward.
Excellent.
All right, so we need a motion.
Is that a motion to continue? I mean, he's not withdrawing, right?
Right.
It's a motion to continue. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That's unanimous.
So
Okay,
So we continue to the 9th, the December 9th meeting?
Unless he wants more time.
it's
Or
the amendment, right?
Right.
When do
The
you want to
amendment.
continue it to? Well, we should continue it till what, the spring?
I don't know what works for the applicant.
What's good for the, 'cause he's not gonna build it in January.
Right, at that point, I mean, the pool, there's
He
no,
could get it
at that
approved.
point, it doesn't really make a difference.
Right.
As long as I can be confident moving forward with the project. But since the foundation did change off the original, I think we should keep the December 9th if that's possible.
Okay. That's fine. It's all been approved and seconded. Okay, thank you.
All right, and just before you go, Steve, just want to make clear that, the existing order of conditions, that all the pre-construction requirements need to be in place before work starts, and that includes tree removal.
Yes, I understand that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right. I'm lost now, because what's it?
1270 Turnpike.
1270 Turnpike. I know. I keep turning the page back and forth. I got a hard copy. 242-1752, 1270 Salem Turnpike.
Okay, so this is a request for an amended order of conditions. The existing order issued in April of 2019 governs construction of a play area for a proposed daycare center. Site improvements included vegetation removal, filling and grading, fencing, and a retaining wall and stair construction. Work is within the 200-foot riverfront area and the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW. Waivers were granted for part of that work in the 25 no disturb zone, but all new structures are out of the 50. The existing drainage system consists of catch basins and a downstream defender. The site contains a pump station, a town pump station, and associated easement. The applicant is requesting the following under this amendment. Construction of additional parking spaces and associated grading. So total of 9 new spaces, and that includes 1 handicap. for a grand total of 28 spaces on the site. Parking expansion is toward the street side of the property, and 3 of the new spaces are within the 50-foot no-build zone. Waiver has been requested for work in the no-build zone for that parking area. A drainage memo has been provided. It states that the test pits reveal a shallow groundwater condition, making infiltration not feasible. The memo states that based on the HydroCAD for the 100-year 8.14-inch storm event, that the current system adequately treats existing and proposed new pavement areas. There's some additional landscaping proposed along the street side of the property as well. The planning board will be opening its hearing on December 1st. So as usual, the commission would wait for the planning board to render a decision, but we figured we'd start the conversation, and if the commission has any other questions or requests for additional information, we can.
Well, the planning board is their application for the planning board is for the additional parking, correct?
Yes.
All right, and by having the additional parking, it will require a waiver request. So I think we should continue this application because there really isn't anything. If planning board does not approve the additional parking, this is a moot application. So I think we should wait till we hear from planning before we give any recommendations, or I think we should continue the hearing until the planning board decision. Jack, any questions?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Lou. This plan is, they're pointing out certain features of their project, but they're not, I can't see where they're even proposing the new parking spaces. And I think I know where the play area is going to go, but I'm not even sure of that. So, and there's a fence in there that it's not really clear. I guess I'm just assuming where it starts and where it stops, but I'm not totally clear on that. So I think the plan needs work too. So I agree. We need to continue this.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
Can I?
1 second. Let me get through the commission first. Thank you.
Yeah, Lou, and other commissioners, you probably all recall the great detailed discussion about the daycare center that was previously proposed there not many years ago, but we can't remember exactly how many, 3 or 4 years ago. And we even sent the play area in its proximity to the floodplain from the beaver swamp out for third-party review. And there was a lot of hand wringing and went, several conservation meetings. So I don't know if we are getting that same level of, we're getting the opportunity to have that same level of discussion and review, because I just don't see any detail on this submission that shows what it is that they're amending. So I think this is, unless I just haven't dived through it deep enough yet, I don't think this gets us there or even close to there yet. Never mind the planning board action.
Very good. Thank you, Joe. Sean?
No questions at this point. Wait to see what planning does, but I certainly agree with the thoughts of Jack and Joe so far.
Thank you. Tony?
I think we should wait for planning to act first and before we take the.
Thank you. All right, so we need the applicant is on board, so I'd like to, does the applicant have a statement?
I do. My name is Deb Colbert with Hancock Associates. This plan has 2 sheets to it, and the second sheet shows the parking layout. It would have been way too busy to show it on both plans. The applicant has tried desperately to lease this property out on on numerous occasions, and it has come back repetitively stating that there is not enough parking spaces. I agree, we are before the planning board in December. However, I would like to at least have some discussion about the plan, to answer some questions that you already have. If you would take some of that time to do that tonight, so that I am better prepared for you when we do come before you.
Okay, the problem with that is, we don't know what planning board is gonna approve or disapprove. So you could show me a plan or show us a plan that we raise questions on, and then we go and then planning board says, no, we're not gonna have this and we're not gonna have that. Planning board might even deny your 9 parking spaces. So us deliberating your application, it doesn't cut it. And the plan, I only have one plan, and it's very busy. And like Joe said, it has some, the original plan had some issues. So I would strongly suggest that you wait till we hear from planning, because we're not going to act on this.
Okay. All right, I understand.
And there's a waiver request on a project, on a plan, that we don't have any idea what, we can't even approve the waiver because we don't know what it is. So I would strongly suggest that you continue till after planning.
Okay, and I will also submit an additional letter with more clarification on what we're proposing. But I will ask for continuance past December 1st.
All right. Is that when is our next meeting, Amy?
The 9th.
The 9th. So our next meeting would be, you want to continue to December 9th?
Yes, please.
All right, and if you have any pertinent information from planning decisions or whatever, please forward it to Amy, so we have some type, we can look through it, and then we can go from there.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. So
thank you for your time.
Thank you. So we need a motion.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. We need a motion to continue.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
Lou, if you scroll through the 37-page,
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
the very last page does show the proposed parking, but again, until we hear from the planning board, it's not even worth discussing. But we do have the information, so should there not be changes, we can review that at the next meeting. Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
That leads me to believe that I should probably parse out these attachments to you guys by email to make it more user friendly for you guys.
that was a 37-page document, and I think that's why everybody, I know that's why I missed it, because they were all the way at the bottom, as Joe said, and I didn't quite get that
sheet
far.
of 37 pages.
Yeah. And where we had the plan as a separate attachment, I just went to that, and I think everybody probably did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And Amy, if you give me a 37-page attachment, you know where it's going to go.
Lou, I'm surprised you could open it.
I can't.
I know. Oh gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm a caveman. That's what I am. Okay, so now we have 242, 1787, 135 North Ramp Road, continued to 12/9.
Yeah, we don't have a quorum, so they agreed to the continuance.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey, Amy, just to circle back to where we were a couple meetings ago, it was Jack and I who needed to see this particular site. In addition, I think everybody else has seen it.
Yes.
Did we making any headway in to be able to get in to do that?
Yeah, we should round robin times and dates that work. I can arrange with the applicant to get on site.
Okay. I'm available whenever you're able to put it together, at least, with pretty reasonable notice. But I think there was confusion. We needed to look at Old Cart Way, but it was this site that we needed to see.
Yes.
Yes, that was my mistake. And I'm available this week and next as well. So
Okay.
I'm kind of quarantining like everybody else.
Very
Yeah,
good.
and there's Tony as well, but I'd recommend you guys, if you are like outdoorsmen a little bit, I would wait till we get like maybe 6 inches, a foot of snow, and you can ski down the glass hill.
Wow. You're hot, John.
It's a black diamond, so be careful.
Literally. Okay, next one. 242-1797, 125 Boston Street.
Okay, the commission will recall holding discussion at its last meeting. This is a septic system upgrade. The commission had no questions, but we didn't have a DEP file number at the time, so we had to continue. Since then, we do have a file number now. I've drafted a decision, so I recommend closing the hearing and issuing an order.
Okay, thank you. Jack? Excuse me. Jack, any questions?
None, thank you.
Thank you. Joe?
No, that's what I remember us waiting for. I'm all set.
All right. Sean?
No questions, Lou. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tony, I don't think you were at the last meeting.
Yeah, no, I'm going to abstain if that's okay.
That's very good. All right. All those, I need a motion?
I move that we close 242-1797 and issue a decision within 21 days.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And one abstention.
Okay. All right.
Okay, next one. 242-1798, 1592 Salem Street.
Okay, the commission will recall reviewing this under a request for determination of applicability at its October 14th meeting and determining that a notice of intent is required. The project involves demolition of an existing very small deck and removal of a fieldstone patio at the side of the house. Proposed construction of a 22 by 22 garage addition, attached breezeway, and rear deck. The deck is to receive crushed stone underneath. Proposed driveway addition to square off the entrance of the new garage, and part of that is out of the buffer zone. All work is outside the 50-foot no build and is 61 feet from the BVW at its closest point. A stone infiltration trench is proposed to capture a portion of the new roof surface to infiltrate. And the construction access and stockpile area have been depicted on the plan, and they're all outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. GovCAM environmental delineated the wetland, and I found that to be accurate. And so the plan didn't change from the time you guys reviewed it under the RDA. So it was simply needing a notice of intent and an order of conditions to properly condition the project. There is a shed, but we've already talked about that. It's in the 50, but aerial photos show it. It shows up in 1978, so it predates the local regulations. So
Thank you.
I would recommend closing the hearing and issue an order of conditions. I've drafted a decision for you this evening.
Thank you. The only thing I have is that it was kind of a mistake on the engineer's part that he filed. I don't know if you remember this, Joe. He filed an RDA when he was supposed to file an NOI, and kind of messed up this application. The applicant is under. I've talked to her. She's an elderly woman, and so I would hope that we can resolve all the issues in this application and move it forward. Jack, any questions?
Yeah, I agree. This looks pretty approvable with the setbacks. You know, we'd have to inspect erosion controls pre-construction and have you know, state our normal procedures, but I see no reason why we can't close this tonight.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
No questions.
Sean?
Amy, I haven't reviewed the entire proposed order yet, but do you have wetland markers in there?
Yes, yep.
Okay, okay, no questions.
Tony?
No, I was going to ask about the wetland marks as well, but other than that, I have no questions and no issues.
Thank you. A motion?
I move that we close and issue in 21.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I'm getting back. I'm looking at two things at the same time. 242, no number yet. 376 Salem Street.
Okay, so this is a notice of intent, and I think 376 Salem Street is is the actual address in Andover. This is actually off of Middleton Road in North Andover, and the parcel straddles both towns. So the corporate line kind of slices right through this property. So this project involves construction of a new single-family house on a vacant lot with associated driveway, septic system, and grading. Work is within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. I observed the BBW line and found it to be accurate. It is controlled by the roadway shoulder, so it's very distinct. A portion of the driveway entrance is within the 50-foot to BBW on the Andover side. And an alternatives analysis was provided in the narrative that talks about the layout of the proposed driveway and why they proposed it straight up the hill as opposed to going across the slope and disturbing even more of the buffer and the slope and vegetation. There are two riprap aprons at the base of the driveway that are meant to assist with roadway runoff and erosion. The narrative also talks about the fact that the project engineer and applicant were on site during a really heavy rainstorm that I wasn't able to get to because I was flooded out. I couldn't reach the site, so they were standing there during a pretty heavy rainstorm. So they observed how roadway runoff behaved, and these riprap aprons made some sense. A commission member provided some initial written comments that I forwarded to the applicant and his engineer, and they provided some immediate response to some of those questions. And I guess that's all I have right now. So
Thank you, Amy. Jack?
Looks like we have to continue this anyway, but no, I'll hold my questions until I get a little bit more footing on this project.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
Amy, with regards to why it is they selected the orientation or configuration of the driveway in the house where it is, is it reasonable to assume that the septic system is driving the design of the site of where it needs to be? And with that in place, siting a house really leaves a limited area where it can go, and then accessing that house the way they do is kind of a foregone conclusion by virtue of what they're constrained to. Are you saying that there may be other alternatives that are better?
No.
Do you think there might?
I don't think so.
I don't either by looking at the plan.
Right. Yep. I
So
think,
so other than awaiting the DEP comments or anything that comes out of this meeting, from a design perspective, I don't think we're asking them to do anything more than they have at this point, right?
I don't think so. Other than, bolstering erosion control, because right now it's just silt fence, and I don't think that's enough. A tracking area should be shown. Well, and a stockpiling area as well, because that's not called out. So I don't know, Tony, if you had any other.
I did have one other question, Amy, and that is what I'm not seeing, and maybe I'm just missing it, is I've seen the radius on the well of the 100-foot, and it scribes out to within the resource area, but what I'm not seeing is a dimension from the closest point of the delineated wetland to where the well is. I mean, we can deduce that it's certainly less than 100, probably something closer to 50. But what we're not seeing is, is it 48? Is it 49? Is it 52? Is the well even a structure? And then they're not showing. I don't think they're showing us how it is they're proposing to protect the drilling of that well, or are they? No, I'm looking at the sheets. I don't see that in the design sheets or the detail sheets either. So there's a lot of slurry that comes up when you drill a deep well, as we talked about on the Historical Society's project.
Hi, Amy. This is Peter here. If you have a question, Phil and I are here. If you want to ask us, we can certainly answer anything you'd like.
So, Joe, you're talking about the proposed well, not the existing well.
The proposed well, yeah.
And the radius shown 100 feet around it.
Yeah, and then see how it scribes up within the resource area?
No, that's an iron rail fence, I believe.
Yeah.
The resource area is on the other side of the street.
Okay, that was freaking me out because I thought I missed a resource area.
It's symbology that we would typically see for a wetland. I'm sorry. There looks like a wetland tagline. I'm sorry.
No,
now I see the words. It's very faint when I see them when I enlarge the view. I'm sorry. God, my comment. It looked like it was a resource area.
Okay, good.
That's okay. Yeah, because I for a second, Joe, I was like, oh, did I miss something? No problem. Oh, just to chime in. I'm sorry. DEP did issue a number on this, Amy, and they did not have any technical comments.
Oh, okay.
I know we're going to continue anyways, but I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Joe, you all set?
No other questions other than that, Amy. I'm all set.
All right.
Okay. I saw this plan and I was like, I've been around construction a long, long time. I have never seen a house get cut in half by a town line. I've seen land, but
Yes.
never a house.
We're pretty excited about it.
I don't have any questions at the time. I spoke to the building inspector today because I had never seen this. But he told me that you were using a North Andover address, but you're using an Andover address, which is fine.
We're going to use an Andover, yes. Yeah.
But you have wetlands issues on Andover side, and as well as ours. And is there a zoning issue also?
No zoning issue. We were actually before the Andover Conservation Commission last night, and
Yes.
they had a couple questions, and we told them we were going to be before you this evening, and that you had a couple questions. So what I said was whatever you folks had for questions, we'd relay back to Andover, and they said that's great. They'd love to work, make sure that people are happy on both sides of the line.
Okay, because I had talked to Amy today, and she had reached out to Andover, and she hadn't received anything, and maybe she did since I talked to her.
I haven't.
Okay. Also, for North Andover boards, we don't approve anything until all boards are satisfied. So in this case, I think we should do the same as far as if Andover is comfortable with what you're proposing, I think that can coincide with what we approve, so that but I don't want to approve our side and that they have any issues or questions. So continuing might be a good thing.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the only thing they asked about was, same as Amy, they want us just to shore up the erosion control a little bit, which we're fine with. They were a little bit curious about the riprap aprons. They wanted to know why we put them there, and Amy just described it perfectly. That we noticed that there was erosion coming not from our site, but down Salem Street really rapidly, and everything flows onto that flat area down where we're showing the driveway. And then ultimately it looks like it makes its way across the street. So we thought maybe we would try to do something that would enhance the situation a little bit. It's not something we have to do. The Andover Concom said they might ask the town engineer if they want it. If they don't want it, it may go away because it's technically in Andover. But if North Andover would like to see something like that, I'm sure Andover would be willing to entertain it. It's more just something we're doing as an enhancement. It's nothing that nobody asked us for.
Yeah. Based on what I heard from Amy saying, the water was pretty intense. Even though it's on the riprap aprons are on Andover property, the water could run into North Andover.
Correct.
So it does draw our attention. So
yeah,
I really appreciate you going forward and putting those aprons and I think that's a good idea. But
yeah, that was the applicant, Mr. Farmer, was he and I kind of talked about that. He said if it helps out, he's more than willing to help out. It's kind of a small thing, but if it helps, we'll do it.
Thank you. Sean?
So concerning the waiver of the 50, I mean, it's just physically impossible to get from Middleton Road onto the property without being within 25 to 50 feet of the wetland, correct?
That's correct. I had done another conceptual, Mr. McDonough, that showed us trying to keep the driveway outside of the 50-foot no-build zone. And essentially, we would have to have the driveway further up Salem Street and basically climb across that hill. And when we looked at it, we just realized it would completely take down almost every tree on that hill. And the applicant, Mr. Farmer, he really doesn't want to do that. He'd like to, there's a nice little buffer there, which is why we preemptively asked Amy if she would meet us out there, in that, you know, we understand that we're putting the driveway down in the flat zone that's down in the 25-foot, but we actually think that's a better solution, because we're going to be able to leave a lot more trees there and not take it down just because of the driveway, which is kind of what Mr. Lynch pointed out earlier, why the driveway is where it is.
And I can't tell from the plan, but you know, I imagine there's going to be a lot of runoff coming down off the hill, down the driveway, crossing Middleton Road, Salem Street. Is there anything that you're going to have down towards the bottom of the driveway to either slow that down or infiltrate it?
Well, I believe somebody, I'm not sure if it was in a comment that I received from Amy in an email. Correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody made the comment. Somebody asked possibly super elevating the driveway, which we think is, yeah, absolutely doable. And if you look at what Mr. Farmer just did in the lot next door, we're thinking of also maybe tipping the driveway from, I guess you would say, left to right, from Andover towards North Andover, putting in riprap shoulders on both sides. And that'll give more room for, you know, snow removal, for runoff to go into the stone, slow down the velocity, and, you know, kind of break it up so it just doesn't come rushing down the hill towards Middleton Road. He just did it next door, came out really nice. I think we're going to do the same thing here.
Yeah, that was going to be my question and comment, was if you could just super elevate it a little bit so it was flowing to the easterly side of the driveway, and maybe do a crushed stone apron or something. And then it would give, like you said, give them a little extra room on the driveway.
Yeah. Is this Tony?
This is Tony. How you doing, Pete?
Hi, Tony. Yeah, absolutely. We were, yeah. Phil had already said that he thinks he's going to do that anyways, to keep from, you know, too much runoff coming down the end of the driveway. So, and we'll have the riprap raping down the bottom to kind of break things up before it hits Middleton Road. So it should work out nice. Yeah,
no, I think that'll work out great. And you know, I know straightening the driveway out just it made sense, and it would probably get constructed that way. But if you're going to edit the plan anyways, to just kind of show it on there.
Oh yeah, we're planning on asking you for continuance tonight anyways. We're gonna revise it and add a few more details with the erosion control, and I'll pitch the grading one side and add some riprap to it, and we'll be back before you.
Awesome.
Great, thank you.
Lou,
do we-
before we vote, I just have one more comment. It's Jack. It looks like there's, some extensive retaining walls on the plan, and we just talked about another retaining wall, probably more critical than these, but you've got some extensive stuff there. We would like to see a retaining wall detail, for all different designs that you might have on these retaining walls on the plan.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, is
please
it Jack?
include that. Yes.
Jack, I emailed the second sheet over to Amy, I think today. Sorry, we don't usually include the second sheet, the profile sheets of the septics when we use them for NOIs, but all of these walls are going to be constructed less than 4 feet high, which is why you see so many tiers. We didn't want to have these big, like you said, big walls, so we kind of spread them out a little bit and tiered them so they'll all be under 4 feet high. So they technically won't need building permits, but you're more than welcome to take a look at the cross sections to see how we're going to do it.
Terrific. Will they be included in the application?
Well, when you say included, you mean are they shown on the plan that's in the application? Yes.
The details.
Yeah, Jack, they are. I'm not sure which link you're using, but if you click on the link that's on the agenda and you scroll through the various pages that are in there, that last sheet shows those cross sections through the walls.
Yep.
Okay.
And, yeah, they're just going to be boulder walls, Jack, that are, like I said, no higher than 4 feet high. So with impermeable barriers behind them, it's just set in place with gravity.
Yeah, Tony and is it Pete, the applicant? Pete, right? Applicant's engineer.
Pete's the engineer. Yeah, Phil's the applicant.
Yep. I'm not so sure that super elevating the driveway all by itself is the answer when all you'd be doing is concentrating all of the flow down one side, where I'm wondering if, some consideration be made. And it's a pretty lengthy and a steep driveway with a lot of roof area that's going to likely find its way down in this general vicinity, over time, particularly in frozen ground conditions. I'm thinking that some consideration for more than just a stone apron, but maybe even check dams and maybe literally just off driveway drainage control to slow it all down incrementally, as opposed to concentrating it down one side and really have it all up in one spot. I think we want to do either side, both sides.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna do both sides so that the runoff coming from the Andover side will do the same thing. It'll be slowed down, because it'll run across the rock before it hits the driveway. That'll slow that part down. And then same thing on the right. We'll have a bit of a flat spot with some riprap, and then go up with riprap. But we can add some. If you want us to add a couple of stone check dams on the way down, that's not a problem.
Yeah, and I recognize single-family lot development is exempt from stormwater management requirements, but I think the practical situation here is folks who are going to live there going to need to be able to access their driveway and not have a resulting impact by erosion finding its way across the street and into the resource area. So I appreciate you guys doing what you can, and I think that is an extension of soil and silt and erosion control as opposed to stormwater manament.
No, I think that's why we're here to.
And I really think we also have, given the sizable amount of earthwork that seems to be shown on this plan, I think that we have a pre-existing condition, we have a post-construction condition, but I think your worst condition we need to concern ourselves with is during construction. So I think you've got some construction protections that need to be far beyond simple erosion controls and siltation control, because I don't think you can manage it at the bottom of the hill, given the amount of disturbed area.
Okay, well, you like I said, if you want to take a drive by and see what Phil's done on the lot next door, he's done a really good job keeping everything. We haven't had any erosion at all coming from his site down onto Salem Street, and we've had some pretty good rainstorms over the past month or so since he started working there. So Phil knows what he's doing.
Site construction? Okay. I'll do that. I'll try to look at it.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job, and Andover's very happy with the way it's coming out, and we're hoping you are as well. So we'll make sure that we work with you to make sure it's safe and it's stable.
Okay, very good.
Hi, this is the applicant, Phil Mama. How's everyone?
We need a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Sean, you all set?
It was just, I had to answer that last question. This is the applicant, Phil Farmer, and I'd just like to say hi. I'm going to attempt to access most of the heavy construction, meaning concrete trucks, any sort of foundation work when the time comes, through the other lot on the high side, which would minimize any sort of disturbance at the bottom of that driveway. So hopefully that
makes me feel.
Okay, good. That's a good idea.
Okay. I'm losing everybody.
Oh, I got you, Mr. Napoli.
Okay, thank you. That's fine. I have a question for Mr. Farmer. I think we go way back. I just want to interject. I probably shouldn't, but was he used to be partners with Jack Grady?
That would be my father.
Your father? Boy, I really am old. Yeah, I did. I used to work with them a long time ago. When I saw the name, I said, I know who that is.
Yeah, GNF building a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Ah, awesome. They were great. They were great, straight up people. So you come from good people. So that I'm confident. I'm sure you'll be as good as your father.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll tell him I'll tell him you said hi, if that's okay.
Thank you. All right. Sean's all set and Joe's all set right now. How about Tony? You all set?
Pretty much. I just had one other question. Did Andover approve the septic design yet?
Andover approved the septic in that they just were waiting for, and Phil can chime in, we're waiting for the well to be installed for the final approval. So it's approved just with that. And again, Phil, I think, has been trying to get the permit through North Andover because that's where the well is. So obviously we're having some issues with being across the town line.
No, that's fine. That's other than that, I appreciate you responding quickly to the email, and no, I think it's a good plan.
Great. All right, so we need a motion to continue.
So moved.
Okay, we got
Second.
two moves. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you for your presentation.
So our next
Thank
meeting.
you. Oh, Amy, I'm sorry, Amy, when are we continued to?
December 9th.
Okay, and what's the filing? When do I need to get you this revised information?
We would prefer 7 days prior to the meeting.
Okay, I'll get to you sooner than that.
Okay, great.
Okay,
And
thanks, everybody. Good night.
You're welcome. If you could speak to Andover Conservation to make sure that I'm sure she will, or they will, get in touch with Amy. That would be very helpful.
I'll copy Ben, Robert Douglas, and Amy all on the same email with some of the. I told them we'd keep them in the loop with what you were looking for, and that way, both commissions can be on the same page.
That's great. Thank you.
Great.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
All right. Next one is an enforcement order 201 Marble Ridge Road.
All right, the commission will recall issuing an enforcement order for unauthorized tree removal, stumping, and import of fill within the 100-foot buffer zone, 200-foot riverfront, and the watershed protection zone. The enforcement order required that all fill be removed and the site be returned to original grades, seeded and stabilized no later than November 16th. The enforcement order are also required that the homeowner engage a wetland consultant and that the consultant be on site during fine tuning of the final grading. So this has been completed, and we have a report from Oxbow Associates. They were on site. They have photos of when the excavator was doing the fine tuning. Taylor and I performed a site inspection this morning with the homeowner and Jean Enright as well. And we found that the site is, returned to what we expected. There is one tree that needs a little attention. Some errant loam was sort of piled around its root base, so that needs to get addressed, and the homeowner will work to take that away so that that tree doesn't get smothered. So we're at the point where the site is stable. We're just going to keep an eye on it through the winter to make sure that the hydro seeding stays put during freeze and thaw cycles and any precipitation events. And the homeowner's more than willing to add erosion control blankets if there's problem areas. There's only a couple areas that might be a problem, but other than that, things look good. We're at the point where the plantings will have to wait till the spring, and the final as-built survey will happen at that time. We were looking at the remaining trees on the site, and there are 6 ash trees that have been impacted by the emerald ash borer. They pose a hazard to power lines and vehicles within the roadway. Some of them may be within the town right away, but they're not long for the world. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and perhaps we could allow for their removal, whether it's the city the town doing the work or the homeowner. There is one non-native invasive tree of heaven, and that should be removed because that's just trouble. And then there's an elm tree that's at the along the Salem Street side that's rotted at the base, and that's leaning into the power lines as well. So that should go. So I think that sums it up in terms of where we're at currently. If you guys have questions for me, let me know.
Right. Jack, any questions?
Yeah, I guess, it sounds like Amy laid it out pretty well, what it is we want to do. We've got some ash trees that are going to be an issue for the utility company in the town. We've got some repair to do on that large sugar maple. We've got the invasive tree we would like to have it removed. Mm-hmm. So how do we do this? I mean, are we going to put another enforcement order out, or amend this enforcement order with direction on the trees? What do you suggest, Amy?
Well, we do have our tree removal protocol process, and these trees absolutely are a hazard, and there's ash borer entry sites all over the place on all of them. So I think, I would think that a tree removal letter would be appropriate without going to the extent of amending the enforcement order.
I agree.
So we would allow removal of those specific trees?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And Taylor can speak to that because, he inspected them as well.
Yeah, I was out there, Jack, and the site is, I think they did a great job. We found out about the trees after the fact. And Taylor, our new field inspector, who's affluent in plants, noticed that the ash trees have the emerald ash borer, and there's a maple tree that has to be taken down because it's on Salem Street side, because it's rotting, and if it falls, it's could be an issue on Salem Street and the power lines. So I talked to Amy today, and I thought this was done, that we would just do a tree removal permit, because the rest of the site is 100%, as far as I'm concerned, stabilized, and I think that whoever did the work did a really good job, because I saw it twice.
Yep.
Okay, so that sounds like it works. What about the tree of heaven? That sounds like that's more our issue than the utility issue.
Oh, the invasive tree? Yeah, that's right next to the maple that just has to come down.
Right. It's not big at all. It's like,
no, it's small.
Inch caliper. But we should nip it in the bud.
So we'll permit it to be removed, but we're not requiring it to be removed. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But, I think Taylor, kind of pointed out that now we have this freshly loamed area right next to it that, when it goes to seed, it's just sort of new territory that can really take hold. So it's going to be easy sprouting if we leave it. So it's probably best just to take it. It's not that big.
Yeah, no argument here. It's just if we permit it to be removed, will it actually be removed?
Oh,
I'll remove it. That's
the applicant has been very cooperative throughout this process, Jack.
it's no issue. I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Tree. Yep. Fine.
Great.
I just had a question on the other ash trees, because as Amy was noticing, some of them may not be on the property. They may be city trees. So I don't believe. Yeah.
What we do is just sort of permit and condition their removal. We don't necessarily dictate who does it, but we would contact with DPW so that they can make that determination as to whether they're within the right of way.
Okay, yeah, understood.
Very good.
I'm all set, Lou.
Thank you, Jack. Joe, any questions?
I'm going to abstain because I missed 2 meetings on this, not just one.
Joe did?
Yeah, I don't think I would argue with the appropriateness of removing any of these trees that we've been talking about. I'm just more concerned about the vehicle by which we do it. So we have an enforcement order that says thou shalt not, and then restore the area, and they're being very cooperative, working in compliance with that. So I think to Jack's question initially was, so do we need to amend the enforcement order? And I think we need to do something to document that this is what we're allowing to be done, and then what the expectation is after it's all done. If it's craning out, or whether it's cutting and not stumping, or it's stump grinding, I guess we need to kind of flush our way through that. Whether it's town property or private property, it's almost would be the same thing we'd require the town as we would of the homeowner.
Right, absolutely, and we always.
I really appreciate the homeowner saying he'd take care of the invasive tree, because honest to God, that given the fact that some selective trees were removed on their own, I think it's the least we do is get the bad one out of there. And I appreciate him doing that.
I just also want to clarify, these are actually not on my property. So
they aren't.
No, we're talking about the ash ones, not the ash ones. The maple tree on Salem Street and the invasive tree right next to it.
Understood. Yeah. As Amy knows from my property line, none of these actually fall on my property. So.
Are they?
Yeah, it's a really weird property line layout. It's like there's a sliver of his neighbor's property that comes in front of him along Salem Street.
All right, so we don't know whose trees they are.
I know.
So we're not. Are we potentially discussing obligating or somehow allowing an applicant or a party to do actions on somebody else's property? Because
No,
Not a good idea.
well, I don't think necessarily. I mean, I think we could just say that these trees can be removed because of their condition. And, you know, Rory would have to go get or talk to his neighbor, or whatever. But it's not like we're dictating who has to do it.
just allowing it.
Just allowing it, exactly. And we
Well,
have.
the vehicle, again, it sounds like bureaucracy, and I really hate that, but the vehicle by which we allow this to happen, put it this way, if the neighbor came in and wanted to take the trees down, they'd come to talk to the conservation office, and you would give them the guidance to small project, tree permit, RDA, or file an NOI. Worse yet would be if they had got a violation by doing it on their own because they thought it was the right thing. But there'd be some vehicle that allows that all to take place. And to use this open enforcement order to discuss what might be on someone else's property, one, I think is dangerous, and two, I'm not even sure it accomplishes what we want to accomplish, which is to grant the permission. Now, I think if we're keeping it simple, if it was only on this person's property that we're talking about the trees, we certainly can grant him permission under this enforcement order without any concern if we knew exactly what it is we're telling him to do. And that is, you can certainly take the trees down, limb them, anything that has emerald ash borer, you have to handle the waste wood appropriately, those types of things that can be spelled out in an enforcement order. But to generally simply say, these are trees that need attention and we're going to let you do it, I don't think is the right way to go about it.
Joe, I discussed this earlier with Amy. The problem is the ash trees, we don't know who owns them. So even instructing this applicant that he can cut them down, no, if they're on town property, he can't cut them down. The maple tree and the invasive tree, I thought that was his property. If that's not his property, he can't cut them down. It's like me coming to your house and cut your tree down. It's like,
well, that's exactly my point. In using the discussion of this enforcement order, though it's going in the right direction, trying to get rid of unhealthy or sick or diseased or invaded trees, is all a great thing. But I just don't think we're doing it through an enforcement order the right way.
No, I don't think Lou and I are saying that. We're saying write a tree removal letter allowing their removal, and allowing Rory to figure out whose responsibility it is.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, it's not the applicant's diligence to worry about these trees. Until we find out whose trees they are. If they're town trees, it's got nothing to do with him, and they got emerald ash borer. The town should cut them down tomorrow. The maple tree and the invasive tree, if they're on the applicant's property, then we can just issue a tree permit. He's willing to do it, and then it's done. I mean,
okay.
I think we're kind of beating up the horse.
A separate process called a tree permit, not through any discussion of this enforcement order.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that makes you okay. And similarly, if they happen to be on someone else's property, not the town's, that's between the two neighbors to have a nice conversation over the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Okay, I'm all set. I don't want to beat this up. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Sean?
So, what is a tree permit, Amy?
We have a tree removal protocol that you guys put in place before I came on board. So it's basically a letter allowing for hazardous trees to be removed.
With anything with 100 feet of a wetland?
Yeah.
Yep. So, as part of that permit process, does it involve showing boundary lines on a plan or anything like that?
No, I mean, it's sort of marking the trees in the field, taking pictures, documenting it in the tree removal letter approval. You know, we go out, we take measurements. You know, we try to identify the species the best we can.
Yeah. And that's measurements to a wetland, not to a boundary line.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, so.
Yeah, I just wanted.
Sean, we've been, and not to get, we'll probably get myself in trouble. But with Jennifer and Amy, what we would do, and Ben, when he would go out and look at trees, we would look at the trees. If they were dead, we allowed them to cut them down. If they were in the wetlands or in the buffer, we would just let them fall and leave them there. Because we didn't disturb the wetlands. If it was a safety factor, you know, it was going to cut a house in half or maybe, you know, injure a person, we would cut it down. But if the tree was healthy, it stayed. I mean, a lot of tree removal we didn't even bring before the commission, because if we ever brought every person that wanted to cut a tree down in this town, we'd be here till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know.
Sure. Yeah. No. I'm not looking to expand the board's role in handling tree removal. I just wanted to understand the permit process, because we don't really see it come in front of us as a commission much, because it sounds like it's handled mostly administratively.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but my thought is, I agree. This is an enforcement order. This seems, you know, like something that isn't necessarily needs to fall under the enforcement order.
No.
And that being the case, and the fact that it may not be on his land, I think there's got to be some other mechanism for him to get permission to cut those trees down that would involve him making a determination as to whether or not they're on his property.
Well, that's going to be priority one. But Amy will research who owns the trees, and then we'll move accordingly. The ash trees, I will personally go to the DPW and make sure those trees are cut down. As far as the maple and the invasive tree, we got to find out whose property it's on, and then Amy will move accordingly and Taylor, and that'll be the end of that. I mean, but the enforcement order stands by itself, and like I said, they've done a great job, and I don't think we should hold the applicant based on trees on the enforcement order.
Right. I agree with Lou.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it should be part of it. I think it should be a separate, dealt with separately.
And you know, and I don't mean to add things to your agenda to talk about at length, but I just felt, you know, I wanted to let you know, because you're going to drive by and there's more trees down. So I just wanted you to know that we've looked at them. They're on their way out of this world, and they're hazards. So that's it.
No, I think we all appreciate that. There's no doubt. It's just when it comes down to the, you know, formal mechanism that gets it done. It's good to know about, but as far as it being part of this specific enforcement order, I think it probably should be handled separately.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Tony?
I wasn't, where are we? Oh, I'm not muted. Where I wasn't involved with the original filing on October 14th, or the original enforcement order, I don't know that I'm eligible to comment, but yeah, I have no problem if the disturbed trees or the diseased trees are to be removed in the future by someone.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're rescinding the enforcement order, correct? Are you going to leave it open until the growing season?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so when you're going to leave it open till, oh, here it is, I can see it now.
Yep.
June 9th?
Yeah, so I would say vote to place this back on June 9th, because we have a deadline of May 30th for the planting. So we'll just have a follow-up, and we'll get an as-built plan at that time.
Okay, so we need a motion to continue the enforcement order till June 9th.
So moved. Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous. Okay, we beat that one up pretty good. Thank you. The next one is 81 Bonnie Lane.
Okay. Alrighty, so Commissioner Roy College is doing an enforcement order for unauthorized work, including excavation and installation of a retaining wall footing, clearing of understory grassy vegetation, and regrading in preparation for a intended patio area. The commission required that all material be removed from the site, all pre-existing grades be restored, and all of the exposed soils be stabilized no later than November 16th. The homeowner engaged Julie Van Drock as their consultant for the wetland delineation and to oversee the landscape contractor to carry out the directives of the enforcement order. A couple of the commission members did meet with Julie on site on a couple Saturdays ago. They provided some additional feedback for what they'd like to see in terms of a replanting plan and bolstering erosion controls. Taylor and I, so all that work was completed. Julie provided a report, a summary report, which you guys have. Taylor and I popped out there, and based on his experience with erosion controls, there's just some tweaks that need to be done with the blankets, and then he provided some recommendations for the spring that could get incorporated into Julie's eventual planting plan. The other thing that the commission requested is an as-built plan. So this was, an unexpected expense that the applicant is asking for a little additional time to provide that. So we could talk about deadlines for submitting, the as-built plan, getting a deadline for plant installation and all that. So I think we're at a point right now, though, that there's just a couple tweaks that need to be done with erosion control blankets. And then we would just wait for the spring for planting.
All right, what are your recommendations are?
So I would amend the enforcement order to incorporate Taylor's recommendations for tweaks right now, and then springtime recommendations for seeding and such. Set a deadline for plant installation, or no, actually set a deadline for submittal of the planting plan, and then set a deadline for actual installation of the plants, and then revisiting this in early June on an agenda.
Okay, thank you. Jack, any questions?
Just comments. I think overall they did a pretty good job of addressing the concerns that Al and I had when we were out there. They did ask for more time on the plan, and specifically the plan that we asked for would have contour lines so that we could see the grade, from the yard down to the water's edge, and that's totally appropriate that they should have more time. I don't think they need until March 10th. I think they could do it earlier than that, but I think they could have it by the first meeting in January. So, I think they've been very cooperative. I think they've been very easy to work with, and I'd have to say that the work that you and Taylor did to tighten things up on the erosion control and on the jute matting and all, that was good, because this is a pretty sensitive property, obviously right above our lake, our drinking water source, and those are the kinds of things that'll really protect us from some bad things. So yeah. Anyway, those are my comments. I think you're totally on the right track. I think May 30th is a great deadline for the plantings. I think we could go earlier for the plan. And you know, overall, you know, I think we've done as well as we could do on this site, on this enforcement action. So that's all, Lou.
Thanks, Jack. Joe?
No, Jack made some great summary comments, and I appreciate all of them, and I agree with them all. It's amazing how much disturbance there was out there, and really seen some pretty good faith in getting it stabilized to where we need to, and let the winter run its course and get out there again in the spring and get it done. So appreciate it. Thank you.
And Jack and Al and Amy and Taylor, I appreciate it, because one of the reasons why I got on the Conservation Commission was the lake is my #1 priority. Because without drinking water, we're in tough shape. So I thank all of you. Also, Amy, I think at some point maybe you should email the rest of the commission Taylor's qualifications, because we just see Taylor's name out there, and who the hell is Taylor? You know. Yeah. So I think that be comfortable if the commission sees how qualified he is, and that would give them some bit of comfort to realize that we have a quality guy, and we can be comfortable when he says something that it's worthy of our attention.
Definitely. Thanks, Lou.
Okay. Sean?
No, I appreciate everybody's help on this one, and I have no questions.
Thank you. Tony?
No, I think the restoration work looks great in the pictures, so no questions.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to extend we'll just go by, we're going to extend the EO by Amy's recommendations.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Julie Vondrock. I just wanted to chime in on behalf of my client this evening. Thank you for all your feedback. And I just did want to, I just had a couple questions, and I just wanted to elaborate on a few things. I did see Amy and Taylor's recommendations. There was 2 different types of slope matting out there, just due to the supplier ran out of one of them, and I did work with them. I did ask them for biodegradable, you know, not a very too long term of a mat, and we can talk about this. It was maybe our understanding in the spring we would actually remove a lot of that material, maybe partially as we seed down the slope, because we do want to try to put some sort of a vegetative cover out there. I don't think there was much to begin with, from my understanding. It was more of a leaf cover. There is a pretty dense overstory, so I think that kind of prohibits a lot of understory growth. And I know there was some concerns about little gaps in the matting. At the time of my inspection, it was pretty overlaid, so it might have just shrunk up over the several days, maybe from the time you guys had seen it. And I know there was some recommendations to put some additional staking in, and potentially biodegradable staking. But it is our understanding that we will remove a lot of the material in the spring, and I just want to make sure that was the commission's either recommendation, or, you know, just kind of remove all that out and do more of a, you know, planting and seeding restoration in the spring. So I just kind of wanted to elaborate on that, or inquire what you guys would like. If you want that matting removed, it is a little bit of a eyesore, I'm hoping, in the spring. You know, like I said, I'm thinking maybe we would seed it from upgrading, working our way down, even though if we have to do it in phases, so that we can allow for greater stabilization. That was one of my thoughts for that area. And also, I know I did put into a request, Jack and Al were on site, and there was some concern about a few of the boulders that looked like they were pushed down the hill. According to my client and the landscapers, they both claim absolutely not, those boulders were there. They had nothing to do, they were not excavated out of the slope. So we are asking that they do remain. I'm just going to work them into a planting plan, that area where those boulders are greater than 25 feet, but I am going to be doing some sort of restoration plantings even beyond the 25 foot, just to kind of provide a better buffer. So that was going to be incorporating into my planting plan for the spring.
Okay, Julie, I would recommend that you do deal mostly with Amy and Taylor.
Okay.
Versus you trying to work through us, because we're gonna only tell her to do what she thinks. So
sounds good.
I think I have full confidence in Taylor and Amy and you, so I think it'll be prepared properly, unless my commissioners have other reservations. Jack?
I don't have any reservations with that. I think that's the perfect approach, Lou. Julie, I did want to ask you, what do you think about the deadline for the plan with contour lines?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, I mean, I don't know about any other contractors, but the ones I try calling, they just laugh at me to get out to do work at my house and stuff. So I know it's taken me 4 months to have someone patch a stone in my yard. So I know my client, I think she knows a surveyor. She was gonna reach out to them. I know the holidays are around the corner. Maybe obviously not till June, because I do want to work on my planting plan. It'd probably be best if I have a plan to do that. So I was thinking maybe a little bit more, maybe not the first meeting in January. Can we push it out a little bit more just to kind of get through the holidays and everything?
Yeah, that's fine. I think, I think mid-March is a bit much, but Amy had suggested March 10th.
Okay.
By the March 10th meeting, would you be able to incorporate everything, your planting plan, the engineered plan?
I could even work on my planting plan. Obviously, I'd like to have it finalized when I have the surveyor's plan, but I have an idea what I'm going to do out there. But yeah, I think if we had the March 10th deadline, hopefully she could, retain the services and RLS, and then I could certainly meet that deadline for putting the planting plan.
Well, it would be good if it was all on one plan.
Yes, yeah, because I could even do the charts, that has, I have about 3 areas I have in mind. So I'll have table 1, 2, 3 areas. So if that's something I can work with the surveyors to put my my plantings on that.
Okay, well, if we can get everything on one plan on March 10th, I'm good with that. So.
Okay.
If you guys are too, Lou.
And is it just, we don't have to show the house, is it more just kind of like the top of the slope? How much, I mean, it is a fairly big lot. We looking for boundaries, property boundaries? Are we looking for the house, or is it more just that back slope where we've done most of the restoration work?
Okay.
Well, it's the disturbed area, but we also need, some good reference points.
Okay.
Like for instance, the house.
Okay.
And of course the lake.
Yeah. Okay. And my flags.
All
Okay.
set, Jack?
Yeah, all set.
Yeah. Joe?
Yep, I'm all set.
All right. Sean?
And sorry, just one last thing too. If the commission needs to get out on the site again, my client has asked, because they do have tenants now, so that if anyone does need to go out, Amy or Taylor, if you want to take a look at something, just either let her know or myself know, so that they can just alert their tenants, so that they don't have unknown people in their yard. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Sean, you have any questions?
No, Lou, thanks.
Okay. Tony?
No questions.
All right, great. All right, so we're gonna continue the enforcement until March 10th. Is that correct? Or the 3 deadlines you have. So we'll just follow Amy's recommendations.
So moved.
Okay.
All right. I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You
You too. Okay, so 242-1692, 1210 Osgood Street, continue till 12/9.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Okay, it's decision time.
Okay, can we circle back to 81 Paddock?
Yeah, that's an item we tabled, Lou. We got the information on that.
I'm sorry. I
okay.
forgot. I'm having so much fun here.
All right, so I forwarded you guys an updated plan that the contractor sent. Okay. So he annotated it to show the, where that extension was going and where the stairs are going towards the driveway. And scribbled out that bump out.
All right, so
Is that okay?
were this an NOI, we probably wouldn't accept this plan, but it's only an RDA.
Right.
It was by way of clarification of showing what they were actually doing as opposed to what was submitted as what they thought they might do.
Right.
I mean, it's certainly clear enough for us to understand the impact of a determination of whether it's positive or negative. I mean, I can see what the plan is intending to do, and I guess that's what we asked them to do. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I am too. I am too,
All right.
Lou.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, and that's unanimous, so that's all.
I'm not sure we went down the line and asked everybody if they had comments. I mean, I'm okay with the motion, but, maybe Tony and Sean might have something to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was so long ago. Sean, do you have any
It was.
questions?
No, I don't have anything, Lou.
Tony?
No, this is perfectly clear to me. I'm fine.
Good, okay, it all works. Okay, so
Negative.
that one,
So it's a
that
-3 and with the conditions I recommended. Okay,
yes.
great. Thank you.
All right, so
Motion
we all
made.
good now?
Yep.
All right.
All right, so we're all good.
Yeah.
All right, so we are doing decisions. 242-1780, 1230 Salem Street.
So we continued that, so we won't have to talk about that.
Okay. Next one is 242-1797, 125 Boston Street. Ah.
So I suggested a bond of 1,500.
We can look at the plan.
I think for a septic system replacement, given the situation of the plan, that 1,500 looks reasonable.
I agree.
The, on the plan that you gave me, Amy, I don't have, the plan itself.
You don't
Do
have.
we have I don't have the septic, the house and all that. Do we have do they have a construction plan, a stockpile site and a construction access to this project?
Let me look up I gotta pull up the plan.
Okay. Yeah, the plan, I don't have a plan.
So I had a question that I was going to ask, but where it was already discussed at a previous hearing, I didn't want to muddy the waters, but this is a plan prepared by a registered sanitarian. So there's no certification by a surveyor as far as the locations of anything, or, I mean, the sanitarian certifies it, but I don't know if that's, I don't technically think that's in his area of professional practice. I just didn't know if that was something the board normally allows, but.
It's not. I'm glad you picked up on that, Tony. We usually have a stamp by a certified engineer, right, Joe?
Yeah, I missed that totally.
At the very least, a surveyor, which we've let ride depending on the circumstances, but we don't have that here for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, having said that, I'd much rather see a failed septic system within the 100-foot buffer zone replaced immediately than not. But I just didn't know what the standard is, because the plan preparation for a septic plan is allowed by a registered sanitarian. It's just kind of when you're certifying distances and that sort of thing.
I've never seen it before, so it's new to me, Tony.
Yeah.
Wonder where he got those contours.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he did it himself, because it says, I certify locations, elevations, ties shown on this plan are results from an actual ground survey made on the ground, and then it's signed by him.
See, I just have the septic design.
Yeah.
I don't have the plan, like, unless this little piece on that sheet. Is it the little blurb on the first sheet that I have? It's got the locus and all that, but.
Yep, just down on the bottom, below the locus, next to the graphic scale.
Yeah, but my question is there's no stockpile. Oh wait, there is. No, that's an existing leach field.
Yeah, no.
There's no construction access, and there's no stockpile area on this plan.
We could definitely condition that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you just said, well, construction access and stockpile to be outside the 100-foot buffer would probably be sufficient.
Yeah.
And that would easily be done too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty obvious where they're going to go.
To be truthful, I like to see it on the plan, because this way there's no discrepancy. Because I've seen contractors be creative.
So, but we already closed this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we can definitely.
I guess we're accepting it, right?
Yeah, we have no choice.
But we can condition that, prior to work, that revised plan be submitted.
I think the other way we can too is, I mean, that's certainly one way. The other way is also to require that the certified as-built plan for the certificate of compliance, that be prepared by at least a surveyor, if not a PE. And we do have a condition. So I'm bouncing around so many. I'm sure under our, which condition would that be, Amy?
That would be condition number 72.
72.
Let's make sure it's explicitly clear of that's what the expectation is, at least for the closeout of the project. But in the same token, we may want to do it as a pre-construction condition.
Okay.
Yeah, it says right there, H, registered professional civil engineer and/or registered professional land surveyor. So yeah, that's we're definitely getting that when we get a certificate of compliance, if they ever ask for one, by the way. But
well, they want their bond, right?
Yeah, that's right. So they're going to want their bond back, and if it's the sale of a property, they're going to want to sell it. So yeah.
Yep.
I think maybe both places. It should be a pre-construction condition that restates what we expect for the certified plot plan.
Okay.
And since they need to do it as part of the final certificate of compliance, may as well get the base work done ahead of time and get it in the can.
Yep.
So at least it's ready to go when the project is complete.
And then add stockpile area, Lou.
Yeah,
And
stockpile
construction
area and
access.
construction access.
Okay.
Yeah. The, Joe, I'm just looking here on the 72, it's already, the as-built plan prepared and signed and stamped by a registered professional civil engineer or registered professional land surveyor.
No, exactly. What I'm saying is if we're going to require the plan as a pre-construction condition, make sure it copies that same verbiage as a pre-construction requirement for the plan that we're asking for.
Okay, that works. Okay,
The as-built.
right.
Amy, I'm jumping around here, but it's just a typo. You probably would have picked it up. Condition 41, the DEP file number just hasn't been filled in yet.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Anybody have any other questions?
Not a one.
Yeah.
Yes?
The markers being placed,
Yeah.
that's something you're gonna review and approve by the Conservation Administration. You would do that pre-construction, or you would do that post-construction?
Pre.
All right.
Yep. And require them to be every 30 feet.
Okay, I'm seeing that.
Condition 50, yeah.
Are we having a numbering issue again? Because that might
Yeah.
show up as one.
Oh, really?
Doesn't matter. We're reading the same verbiage, just the numbering might be a little different. Looks pretty good otherwise. I'm okay with what I'm reading.
Okay, so about a motion.
Move that we adopt the order conditions 242-1797 as amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? And that's unanimous. Last but not least, 242-1798, 1592 Salem Street.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. I think the condition 38 on my document, the bond $500, is that a little bit light?
We had a feeling somebody was going to say something. There's been this project has had some extenuating circumstances. If you want to increase the bond, that's up to you guys. But I just felt, well, Amy posted it and I agree with her. If you want to increase it, that's up to you. I'm game.
Just trying to be consistent, that setback is pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, I was just trying to be sensitive to fixed income. You know, it's been a kind of a rough road for this applicant, so. But, you know, it's your.
Yeah, I know.
It's your call, you guys.
This, Jack, I agree with you because you know me and consistency. I like to be consistent.
Yeah,
But
right.
but but this applicant is kind of got a raw deal at the beginning. She was steered down the wrong path, and she had to spend extra money because she wasn't told the proper way to go, or who she hired didn't go the proper route. So, you know, we're trying to be as helpful as we can with the hand that she was dealt with.
That's what I was trying to remember. I do remember the circumstance. I think given all of that and the good faith that they've shown getting to this point, I think it just adds insult to injury to hype up the bond.
Yeah. I mean, I spoke.
In the end, they're going to want compliance again, and that's the motivating. I think in this instance, that is the true motivating factor.
Yep.
I mean, I spoke to this lady at length, and to get to this point, so I really don't want to throw a curveball if we don't have to.
Right. It's a pretty flat site, and the setbacks are really good.
Yeah.
So I think I can maybe rationalize a that bond amount.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
The only other thing I saw was comment 43. Plans calling out plans calling out straw wattle, and we're requiring silt socks.
Okay.
Just may be worthwhile to. I'm fine with either, but just make sure the applicant's aware when we give her the order. Just.
Do you think we should do the straw wattle? I mean, it's really flat. I think
That was kind of my thought. There's not a ton of earthwork going on with this, and it is pretty far away. The straw wattle would be adequate, I think. But,
okay. I tend to agree.
That might impact condition 44 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll change that to straw.
Any more questions? If not, entertain a motion.
Move that we adopt the order of conditions as amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that's unanimous. And last but, we have to do an authorization thing, correct?
Yeah.
Amy?
Yep. Just vote to authorize me to sign all the permits issued this evening on your behalf.
So moved.
Second.
Need a sec. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. And last but not least, motion to adjourn. Yeah, then it's the next meeting for Royal Crest, right?
Royal Crest, yes. So Royal Crest we want to, the town would like to get Royal Crest on our agenda just to start a conversation for a springboard for our subcommittee work. So, and Lou sent a message to me that we need to have some initial stormwater management proposal to contemplate, because that's sort of the linchpin of issues out there for us. So I will make sure that they know that we'd like to see something in that regard.
Yeah, like I told her, I said, I don't want to see people with pictures of people walking on sidewalks. That doesn't, so I asked for a preliminary stormwater management plan that we can look at.
Yeah.
And if the commission can remember, the people we was Joe, Al, and myself.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'd readily surrender my seat to Tony if he wants to.
Oh, this is the where everyone, you need volunteers and everyone steps backwards part of the meeting. Yes.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
The subcommittee we put together on this one actually makes some sense from our own perspective. Yeah, a lot of us grew up in the area and remember Royal Crest before it was Royal Crest.
Yeah.
Is Royal Crest on the December 9th agenda?
It will be, right?
Yeah, just open up. Hopefully we get the pre-stormwater management plan before then, because I don't even want to open it up unless we see something.
Okay. They want to open on the 9th?
I think so, right, Amy?
Okay.
Personally, I think they want to get in for town meeting, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do there.
I mean, way back when we started talking about the subcommittee, my reluctance was I didn't want to be out in front of this project as a member of a committee or a board or a commission in town here, and give anybody the appearance that, one, this is a backroom deal, and two, that we were somehow leading the charge on design. They need to have an application before us before we put the subcommittee together. Otherwise, it'd be really inappropriate. So I think step one is doing just that, is open it up, get it out there in the public realm, and let's let the discussions begin.
Yeah, I agree. And people, I hope people that come before us realize that our only purvey is stormwater, and so whatever they want to build on it, that's got nothing to do with us. But and I'm sure we're going to have abutters or whatever. They're going to come with torches and sticks and all kinds of things. But we got to. That's why I really want to look. If they're going to open it up, that's fine. But it's third-party review. It's recommendations by us. It's a long road, and there's a 40B involved in it. And I don't. Whatever. I'll do what the town wants it to go through. Well, wants it to move along, but there's a lot to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
by all boards.
Probably one of the more complicated and convoluted projects that's come before the town since I've lived here. And yeah, that's saying something. We've seen some big ones.
Yeah. Well,
a lot at play here.
I agree with you 100%. I was there for the first introduction, and I was listening to their presentation, and it was wonderful. But I've been to Disney World too. So
that's how I see it. I mean, if they're going to move forward, it's time to get specific.
Right.
Yeah, let's roll up our sleeves and get down and dirty. Let's do it, and we're going to do it the right way, or we're not going to do it at all. So I mean, and I have voiced that to people in the upper echelon. that's the way I operate, and I know that's the way the commission operates. So, you know, we're not going to hold the project up because we don't like it. The only time we would hold the project up if it wasn't designed properly.
Oh, and you know, on the contrary, Lou, exactly. Even on other really big, very important projects to the town, process we're about to embark on turned out to be a good process that ended up in good results. So, you know, that's the hope of this, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I mean, and I know that's not the town's direction, but I don't think there's anybody that just thinks that we're just gonna swishy swashy it through, because that's not our game plan.
Yeah, but I think they can rest assured that, you know, we're gonna demand what's appropriate and expect it. And if there's any reason that they're reluctant to do that, we're not gonna be too patient about that. So, you know, we have been on this commission a long time, and we know what we're doing, and I think the town's been served by what we've done. And that's the exact intent here as well.
Correct.
Is the, so a portion of the project is a 40B, correct? But they're not proposing the whole thing under 40B. So it'd be kind of interesting to see where the delineation between what part of the project is subject to only the state versus what's subject to the state and the local.
Well, you'll find out, because there's some isolated wetlands that are in the way, and that's the 40B is the mechanism to, you know, make them go away.
Gotcha. I only saw the buildings, the building plans of what they're planning, you know, hotel and the retail and the dorms, the high-rise dorms and townhouses and high-rise apartments. And I'm like, there isn't a place to put a puddle, never mind a wetland or a retention pond. That's, and I asked that question. That was one of the first questions I asked. Where's the stormwater? And the guy says to me, I don't know who it was, said that all the stormwater was going to stay on that site. And I almost, you know, if I was, and I almost was going to fall off my chair, you know, but I did, because we did it remotely. But I was like, oh, please don't go there. You know, I mean, you know, I just like Joe said, we've been around here a long time, you know, and there isn't a spot in this town that I haven't dug a hole and hauled material to. So I mean, don't tell me it's wet or it's dry or it's whatever. It's, you know, let's play nice and get through this. No,
fair enough. So we're going to hear something open up at the next meeting, and the subcommittee will start its work after that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Well, so just so you're clear, it's not going to be an NOI. This is strictly, hey guys, this is what our concept is. This is what we're doing, and
so they won't be opening in December 9th.
No, not an application. It's
okay.
It's to start conversation with you guys.
Good. Okay.
As a springboard for the subcommittee.
I agree. I agree with you, Lou. How are they going to make town meeting?
Yeah, it's unreal. It's an unrealistic goal.
Well, let's see what happens. But that sounds like a pretty aggressive time frame.
Yep.
Yes, and I have full faith in the subcommittee and the commission that we'll do the right thing.
Yep.
Okay. You ready for a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Signatures.
No, we already did that.
You did
we already did that, I hope.
Oh, we did
right?
that. Okay, before we adjourn, I just want to say one thing. We have had a NACC Christmas party for, I think, going on almost 10 years now. Okay, it's probably, I think this might be our 10th or our 9th. But anyway, I think it's probably unlikely that we'll be able to do it outdoors, which would be preferable. But I'm going to suggest by email, a few options for us and see how everybody feels. Obviously, it's a personal choice whether you want to do it, how many people want to do it or not, but I think it's been a great tradition for us, and I think I want to do it.
I think we can do it in Myrtle Beach, Jack.
What?
We can do it at Myrtle Beach.
I was gonna say Aruba.
Aruba, hey, how's the filing fee account look?
Yeah, we got plenty of dough, don't we, Amy?
No, we got to pay Taylor. We got to keep that money for Taylor.
But will they let us in Aruba? I think they won't.
No.
So Jack's got some great ideas. Let's run with those and see what happens.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
look for emails from me.
Okay.
Great.
At the very least, we're going to acknowledge the holiday for darn sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm calling in the evening. Taylor and Tony, we don't usually this late. It's just we had a big agenda.
Yeah.
It was a 3-week agenda, right?
Yeah. We usually do. Usually by 9:30, we used to have cocktails at the 99.
No, it seems to go pretty smooth, and I appreciate everything, and it's much more enjoyable on this side of the table coming.
I bet.
There you go. But
okay, very
yes,
good.
Thank you all.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Okay.
Good night.
Good night.